This is culturally inappropriate.
Ballerinas doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe. Shopping sprees in Soho, you had to see it. Strippers shaking ass and watching the dough blow. Ace trumpets in rose mode. Yellow diamonds look like PP. Bitches fly from DC on my private to Waikiki. 3P, niggas is my sons and that's on repeat. Sins of the father, so I call you little Michis. It's easy, how could you and me be? Ever seen his peers, can't compare, you just CC. Don't you know these clears in my ears, only VVs? Play musical chairs, Fred Astaire through these G.
Buy this car to drive to work to pay for this car. Buy this car to drive to work
On my Twitter. Honestly, you should try to...
Different things for different people, because their shit is dog shit. Like, if you actually go to, like, the overall, like, you know, like, the overall trending list, it actually, it'll show, like, the shit I never see on my feed, on my For You feed. I never see those things. On the regular trending, it's probably, like, NBA Finals, Red Sox, Yankees, like, all that shit. But, whatever. Anyways, welcome to Yellow Brick Road. I'm Jordan, and today, we're gonna, listen to a little bit of I played a little bit of this before, but in a different context, about Kash Patel. And he's going to talk about Epstein and the deep state and all that shit. We have some tweets from David Icke and Michael Tracy kind of pointing out the absurdity of what we're witnessing. But first, don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
Are you talking about Epstein, that guy that killed himself?
Apparently he didn't, according to Kash Patel and Dan Bongino. I'm saying his name
No,
right.
they said he did kill himself.
Oh, my bad. Yes. They're saying he did kill himself. He did kill himself, and they have proof of it. They're gonna release videos.
If you actually listen to what they said, they're gonna release a video of him walking around at some point while in the jail. Not the actual suicide. So it's not gonna prove anything.
Would it be nice if they treated us like adults? Like, yo, if you can't handle, don't watch. If you can, go watch. You know what I'm saying? Like here's a government website that's, you know, age protected, and you just go. You can watch it if you're an adult. Simple enough. But
I said in response to hearing that, the only thing they're proving is at some point somewhere he was in a jail cell.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's just like a consistent theme from the government in regards to things that people want to know about. It's either just barrier after barrier of trying to get FOIAs fucking done and get information on something, or okay, this is now declassified. Can I look at it now? Oh, I have it, but now it's like 90% redacted. Like I'm just going with they don't like us. I'm going with that. They don't like us. I'm going with that.
Declassified but redacted.
Yeah. Because we can't handle it. If we knew about it, something bad would happen, so you have to hide it from us. Anyways, here we have David Icke quote tweeting Michael Tracy. I'll read both. Rogan and the MAGA media mob have always been frauds. I'm not going to say Rogan's always been a fraud. I think he's like really stupid, and there's something fraudulent happening. It's just hard to put my finger on exactly what the fuck it is, but something is fraudulent happening there. And MAGA media, for the most part, yes, they're a bunch of frauds, in my opinion.
Well, what about less fraudulent and more just coward?
That could definitely be a thing. Which is kind of fraudulent. Whatever. Anyways, hasn't someone been given so much shit for saying... Wait. I'll just read it over. Rogan and the MAGA mob, media mob, have always been frauds. Hasn't someone been giving you so much shit for saying so long? I guess he's talking about himself. But it's true all the same. Rogan pushed his mate Musk with softball questions and arse kissing, and then endorsed Trump with softball questions and arse kissing. The three of them deserve each other. I mean, he recently said in the video I played the other day, he was saying, someone should take Elon's phone away because Elon's talked about Trump is in the Epstein files, right? So, and Rogan's response was, someone should take his phone away. I'm like, huh, interesting. And then we see Trump at the UFC fight last night. It's like, huh, where is Rogan? Once again, I want to think he's just a coward, but there's room for other theories, I think, on the guy. But whatever. All right, let's keep it moving. Okay, from Michael Tracy, all it takes is a friendly visit from the FBI director to convince Joe Rogan that Epstein killed himself, and there are no compromising videos of powerful people from Epstein's island. Just like that, the deep state, the quote-unquote deep state, gets a makeover as a benign force for podcast truth-telling. Now, what's interesting about that, because people usually leave Rogan alone, I like that Michael Tracy went somewhere with that and threw an idea out there in regards to Rogan, because I think he gets away with way too much. Way too much. God?
You gotta say it again. You laugh too much through it.
I mean, I'll let it speak for itself. I'll leave the tweet on screen, obviously. You figure it out. But, all right. Let's play the video. Here we go.
Also, if I had a shred, me, Kash Patel, had a shred of evidence, the Russiagate guy, the Jan 6 guy, the COVID origins guy, had a shred of evidence that this guy was murdered, I would be the first guy to bring this case hard and fast. And I would even doing press conferences every week on it. Mm-hmm. The first guy. That's what I'm asking people to play out to their logical conclusion. I'm not Comey. I'm not McCabe. I'm not the guy that was in the seat before. I have a wildly different background. I've been putting
the guy who Trump hired too, Christopher Wray, right?
Out the truth my entire career. Why would I risk all of it on this guy?
I believe you. Catch the letter.
I don't know.
I believe you. I just think that, the problem is we've been fuming on this conspiracy for so long. And we love conspiracies, don't we?
No,
as a country,
it's
there's
good,
so
right?
much fun.
I mean, they make
JFK tapes. Come on.
So I'm
How much can you talk about what you?
Now, I will say, for me personally, yes, this is being. I want people. This is going to sound very narcissistic, but I want people to be more like the way I think about it. Like everything's important. I want people to think that way. Everything's important. Not just, whether Trump's good or bad. It's all riding on whether or not we find out about Epstein. So if Trump bombs 30 nations, kills a bunch of men, women, and children, all innocent, just blows them all up, but he gives you the Epstein tape, does not make him a good This does not make him a good person or a good president, right? I hope people but I have to throw these things out here because some people maybe forget to think or forget to think about it a little bit, and they get trapped up in the whole controversy of the Epstein thing. I get it; it's very sensational. A bunch of elite, rich celebrities, famous people, the super duper billionaires. Oh my God, these guys are raping kids. That's like a fucking if this was set in 2001 or something like that, or 2005 or 2008, in that territory, people would be like, "Oh my God, this is the biggest story of all time," right? So I understand that. It's just there are other things playing out. There's still people being trafficked.
Hold on.
Around the world.
Hold on.
What?
The fact that this dude told us that Epstein killed himself, but the autopsy tells us he broke his neck in a way you could never do, strangling yourself, and 3 doctors confirmed, that's not possible.
Well,
Unless you're saying the doctors are lying, but he hasn't. When he told us that Epstein didn't kill himself, he didn't say, "Here's the evidence that leads us to this." No, he just said, "Believe me."
Yeah.
Trust me, but don't trust me. You don't have to trust me, but you shouldn't trust me. So therefore, trust me. What? What?
He's the guy. He told Joe Rogan, "I'm the guy."
Yeah.
Why would I risk my career for this one guy? I don't know. Why are you risking your career for this one guy?
Well, yeah. You brought it up, so I'll go there now. But I was gonna ease into it, but yeah. The whole you're gonna hear a lot of contradicting stories, and I think what Kash Patel is doing is one, buying time, where you just throw kind of a cloud of doubt out there of the scenario, which maybe I'm sure there's not everyone, not most people, but some people are now thinking what if he did just kill himself? Huh. Wow. Ooh, let me think about it for a while. There's that. There's also let's be real, distractions from other things that are happening around the world or in the U.S. It can play that role by keeping the story lingering instead of just dropping the information immediately. You know what I mean? Instead of just here's the tapes, here's the videos, here's the transcripts, here's the evidence we gathered. Instead of just dropping it, now it just lingers on, and people become hyper focused on it, and thus you miss out on other things happening. So I think there's room to say a decent amount of theories in regards to Kash Patel and what he's actually doing here. And I did mention the other video that JD Vance was on Theo Von's the same day I think the same day. So it's oh, what are you guys actually doing here? Is this a coordinated effort thing, or is it honest and real? I don't know.
So then you gotta consider the other things that we were told by Bill Barr.
Yes,
well, the
Bill
cameras
Barr
went down that day. They moved out his roommate. Then we took him off a suicide watch. And, well, Bill Barr said he killed himself, but he didn't say what led him to believe that either.
Yeah.
But what they told us doesn't add up to he killed himself. Tell us the part we're fucking missing that you kept classified or something.
Yeah.
That connects that final dot for the average American to understand. Common sense.
Yeah. I mean,
common sense. Why is there cameras going out of service? That's fishy. Not clear and obvious.
and didn't something happen? What was with the security guys they're supposed to be watching these kind of high risk people?
They fell asleep. That.
Oh yeah. Oh damn, they fell asleep. Oh shit, damn.
They fell asleep.
Well, god dang it.
Cameras turned off.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And his roommate that tried to kill him a week before, they moved him out. 2 days before, they took him off a suicide watch. At the same time, he gets the best lawyer he could get and says, "Hey, make sure to tell the public I'm not gonna kill myself."
He told his brother too, "Yo, I'm not suicidal."
Yeah.
I love you bringing up the Bill Barr thing. That is important to this because people felt alleviated during Trump's first term because I'm gonna get someone on the case, and they got Bill Barr on the case. Even though Trump himself, out loud in words, was more I haven't been paying attention to the case. I don't really know what's going on. I'll let the Justice Department handle that. All right, but the idea that people were floating around was that Trump put him on the job to actually investigate it. And now we circle back to now, and it's the same story. He hired Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi to go after to learn more about the Epstein case and then deliver it for people. Right? That's the idea that floats around in regards to this. I'm all I see is time being stalled. When he put Bill Barr on the fucking case, I think people mostly kind of moved on and forgot about it. This time around, it's definitely much different, but it's still the same lagging. How to just keep holding back, just keeping the story kind of rolling while he does other shit. While he does other shit around the world, and that's where I'm I don't know. For me, it smells like a play, almost like a narrative, almost like a movie narrative thing. Pay attention over here, focus on this while you're getting nothing out of it. Right? No one's getting videotapes. No one's getting the actual files of anything. But please, put your heart and mind all into this fucking story. while
Right.
we do other things.
Well, why was Bill Barr there? Because Jeff Sessions recused himself from stuff.
Yeah.
Not this case, but that was the idea. Is well, Jeff Sessions just isn't doing it, so we're gonna get this guy in, and you should follow. And he's a really good guy. And then we, like, 2 days after he's nominated as the next attorney general,
AG, yeah.
people start finding out. Oh, he was George Bush's attorney general. Fuck.
But no, here's the funny thing, because I mentioned earlier about
same
Chris Ray.
thing.
Well,
Same thing, different fucking day.
I mentioned earlier about Chris Ray, the FBI director that Trump put in because after what's his name, James Comey, right?
He looked good until he didn't.
And then they're like, everyone blamed Ray. They're like, oh, this guy betrayed Trump. And now we have Kash Patel here, who's probably going to get the same treatment. Like, oh, he's betraying Trump again. And I'm like, and Trump's like, give me some fucking credit, guys. I'm trying to fuck you over. You're not giving me any credit.
I'm the guy.
I'm the guy. I did it.
Well, I can't find anybody that will work with me. Because he did lose his shit on Jeff Sessions afterwards. He did lose his shit on Bill Burr afterwards. He did lose his shit on Christopher Wray afterwards.
It's Bill Barr, by the way. You said Bill Burr.
Yeah, not Bill Burr.
Bill Burr.
What'd I say?
You said the comedian Bill Burr.
Yeah. Sorry, my bad.
Fair enough.
It's after it's too late. He loses his shit on him.
He's like, well,
once it's obvious to the public that they're failing, yeah, I'm on your side, people.
He does constant aw shucks, like, aw shucks. I just forgot that one. Dang it.
Oh, the right-leaning news that isn't Fox hates Pam Bondi.
Oh yeah, they become the target. Whoever he hires, then they initially they say these are heroes that are going to save us, and then they do something fucked up, and then they curse them, and it's just like,
and she was part of the Epstein case too when it was in Miami.
How did they define insanity again? What's it? Repeating the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result.
Yeah.
He's repeating what he did already. As far as like hiring and the media's sorry, my bad. The way the media is treating the whole scenario. It's like you guys were mad at the first guys he hired in his first term. He gets rid of them, brings someone else in, and you get mad at them too. Now you're in this time period, and he's doing it again, and you're hating these people again. And it's like, yo, maybe he's a problem.
Here, let me tell me at least two things. If I remember the third one, Pam Bondi was part of Epstein's case when he was in Miami when he first got weekends.
Yes,
he's got to go to jail for weekends. She was the Attorney General of Florida or something, so she wasn't on the case, but she was over the case for the prosecution side.
I don't think she was AG yet at that time. I think I looked that up. I don't think she was AG yet. I think she's a part of the Florida fucking
so
judicial
she was part of
thing. Yeah.
Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin. You know how they initially said, okay, this is a clean shoot, George Zimmerman's good, and then they later said, no, there's too much heat, we need to make it an actual trial. And then they still went with it was a clean shoot. Whether you agree with that or not, she was the Attorney General that made it come back to where it became a huge problem politically.
Well, yeah. Well, you're supposed to have foresight. Yeah.
So she threw it back into the arena versus saying, all right, let's get this out of here. Okay. Third thing is she's all about gun control. How is she calling herself a Republican if she's gun control? No sane Republican that could actually support this. And none of us knew this shit before she was Attorney General. Because,
Funny how that works.
blind spots for the Republicans.
Now, the funny thing is, actually, you conservatives that want gun laws to be a certain way, it's like, I don't know. Is it the scenarios that of reasons why you need guns is probably not very realistic of happening, right?
Yeah, specifically, she was red flag laws. To where if someone says you shouldn't have a gun, and all you're doing is calling the police and saying this person's shouldn't have a gun, they come and take it. Which is gun confiscation by choice. Like someone else's, just all they have to do is make a phone call. She was in support of that.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I get it's, I'm not a gun guy at all. It's
right. But Republicans are, and that's who we're okay with.
That's who she claims to represent, right? And so she's deceptive on that front, is what you're saying, I think. Fair enough. But then either Trump's an idiot or he's a part of it, right? Either he didn't do his research, which means he's dumb, right? Or he's a part of it.
He didn't know. He didn't know.
Wow. Actually, side note, the duck told me about a fucking silencer thing that's in the big beautiful bill, and Tim Pool was like bragging about it. Yeah, like a silencer, right, on a gun. It's like, first of all, what the fuck do you need that for?
God. 1930s law that says we can't buy silencers without a class 4 or something license. Well, this is supposed to get rid of that law.
Why do you need sound? That's beyond the point to me. The point I was trying to make was that Tim Pool said, like, maybe the bill's not so bad. You got silencers on your guns. I'm gonna buy some silencers. Like, what?
Well, silencers make your gun safer.
They what?
They make your gun safer.
They make the thing that's sole purpose is killing safer. What does that mean?
For the shooter, not the victim.
How does it make it safer?
They don't know where you're shooting from.
Yo, stop it. Stop fucking trolling me. Get the fuck out of here.
That is literally...
You need James Bond in your fucking living room when someone house evades you.
No. I've heard this argument 5 times in the last week. That's why it's safer.
It's safer so the assailant doesn't know where you're shooting from.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, dude. Why are we... Come on. Why do we keep pushing towards the most anti-life thing ever? Not that I'm so... Listen, I don't have a problem with guns. I have a problem with silencers.
I have a problem with silencers.
I don't like the mentality of people in society having those guns and silencers. That's what I don't like. I know people bring up like, oh my God, they have quote unquote mental issues, right? Thus they can't have a gun. Okay, that makes it. But I think the regular person, sorry, forgive me for this standard, but I think the average person actually, like, I'm sorry, I don't trust you with a fucking gun. I don't. Considering what we see happening in the world.
They got a gun to not worry about what you trust or not.
And there's the point exactly.
Dubster has an ego. We all know this.
This has nothing to do with Dubster.
If the world was the most healthy place in the world, I'd be like, yeah, everyone get a fucking gun. Fuck it. I mean, I wouldn't get one because I don't care to. But I'm sure other people want to go to the firing range or they want to do hunting or whatever the fuck, right? I get that. It's just...
I'm getting a gun.
It's taking, the 007 pistol with a silencer and giving it to someone who's not 007, if that makes sense.
I still believe in
not that I like the guy. It's just like but minimum he's like a professional in a way, right? I'm just saying.
The PPK is such a weak ass fucking around.
You can call it weak, but it can kill people, right? One shot to the head, you're probably dead, right?
A BPK? I don't know how much bigger than a 22 long rifle round that is.
Could care less, bro.
Hey,
I don't know enough, but I'm pretty sure the thing that was made to shoot, bang, oh, body fall down. I think the way our society works, I don't think people are ready for shit like that. But we do it anyways, right?
No.
That is what it is.
You want at least a 40 caliber because even 9mm.
You want to
even
take their
9mm
fucking head off, don't you?
killing
You
people.
gotta do that.
Yeah.
Take their fucking head off. And Jesus
You
cried
want
a
a
little bit.
stopper. You want a stopper.
Dubster, you're
You don't
fucking
want-
you got ego problems, man. Like, come on. A
If you're
9mm
shooting
actually would do the
somebody,
job.
it's to stop them. If you're shooting somebody, it's to stop them. 9mm is not killing them every time.
I'm okay
You
with
hit him in
the
chest
discussion,
with
but I have to
nine,
let
it's gonna fucking kill him.
goes. I have to let you know that I'm recording, but say whatever you want. I'm just saying, like, just so you know, so you're not feeling ambushed
Yeah,
or whatever.
look.
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I kind of suspected, but yeah, no, Dubster, like a 9mm will actually kill somebody. Yes.
It can, but it doesn't every time. It is
If you
not
hit
something
him
to
right,
rely
if you-
on.
Okay, you're not gonna fucking
Wait,
hit
wait.
somebody in the leg if you're gonna try to like stop him
That's
from
why you
going
go
in
to
your
40.
house, right?
Because it's more reliable to stop the
But hold on.
intruder.
Not
Dubster's
everybody
like,
can
high
handle
risk,
a 40,
high
a 40
reward.
fucking millimeter. Nobody can. Not everybody can handle that, Dubster. The
Sucks to
kickback
be
on
you.
fucking those pistols, or alone, can fucking actually hurt people. So yeah, no, not
Okay.
everybody's gonna be
So,
into that.
Nobody. How come no one's thinking about like if the person wasn't someone you actually wanted to shoot at? Do you want it to be one shot, one kill type thing? If it's someone that like,
Well,
yo,
I
wait a
think
minute,
it-
this is the wrong person. I fuck, it was my friend
No, you don't
trying
know.
to surprise
if they
me.
live, they might sue you.
It's my friend from out of town that was trying to surprise me for like, his birthday or something. He
That's a
stuck into my
yikes,
house,
Dubster.
and I fucking blew his fucking head off. Pause.
Like
Oh my
my whole
god.
That
fucking
can't be
point in
good.
like I like owning weapons because I can fucking defend myself, right? And that would be if somebody broke into my house, I can actually protect me and my family. Correct.
I understand
But to
that. It's
fucking
just a
say-
very
it's-
rare scenario, though.
Yeah. But it wouldn't be used like on a common basis, unless if I go to a firing range and practice, because that's actually.
I'm
something
saying
I
a home
do.
invasion is a very rare occurrence. I know people watch the
Yeah,
nightly
yeah.
news, and that's like, oh my god, it's happening every day. Like, yeah, in all these different
Let's-
parts of the country, yeah.
And not to like mention, like nobody wants to kill somebody. I'm a good person. If I kill somebody, that's gonna fucking devastate me to the 10th degree. I'll probably have to go to therapy for the rest of my life. Because that's who I am. I don't like hurting people. But if I have to, I will defend my family. The thing that Dubster said is like, oh, they'll sue you. That's like the most heartless shit you can fucking
He's trolling.
say, Dubster.
He's trolling.
That has nothing to do with taking a life. It is fucking hard.
Well, I'm just gonna say be Batman, because Batman guarantees he won't take a life. Anyways, or Jesus, or Neo, they'd also say, I'll guarantee that by not shooting at someone because they walk into my house, whether they're armed or not.
Well, Batman's
But I understand.
getting raped in his own house then.
Good luck.
Hey yo.
Did you
Good
just
luck.
say that Batman's getting raped in his own
Yo.
house then?
Yeah, he did. He's thinking
Yes.
about it.
Yeah. What's the?
Oh, fuck?
He's out here
pulling from
thinking
his
about
subconscious,
shit.
bro. He's pulling from his subconscious.
Yeah.
Like, man, what have I seen
I'm like
recently?
that.
All right, gay porn. All right.
He
I
wants to
literally
put-
face
he wants
palmed
to put
Dubster. You're a
hole in
jackass.
his-
Just saying.
Dubster wants to pull a hole in his suit.
Batman gets some
What the
surprise
fuck?
dick. It's his new.
What the fuck?
You type that into a fucking AI machine. The AI generates like Batman gets surprised with some dick.
Don't bring a don't bring a batarang to a Glock fight.
What the fuck?
He's not denying anything. All right, okay. Let's get back to Epstein.
Yeah, he
No.
never denies.
Let's get
No.
back to Epstein here. I just wanted to point that out with the way that like the names turn over, and Trump hires this person or that person. People don't like them. They get fired. They get replaced. We don't like that person. Like on and so forth. So it's like what Kash Patel is doing now, and probably what Vance was doing. Because I think Vance was asked about this on Theo Von's thing, and he said he was asked about it in regards to Elon Musk and Donald Trump, right? Because Elon's the one who put the tweet
Oh,
up,
yeah.
right?
I saw that.
right? So they're like, but JD Vance is trying to play both sides because he's, let's be real, on both sides.
That absolutely is not true. Trump is
That's
not.
absolutely not true. Like, what makes you say that?
But Elon's a good guy, right?
I'm
No,
quoting
that's what
JD
JD
Vance.
said. That's what JD said, Ghost.
Yeah, but he's also saying, you know, I like Elon too, right? Basically, that's how I understand it. So it's like, and JD Vance is what people usually say. A lot of people have said is the guy who brought the Palantir aspect or the tech bro aspect into the Trump administration. So
the Palantir is the crystal ball in Lord of the Rings that's on the bad side that can see everything.
Yeah. So he's not doing Last Hurrah. Basically, it is also part of the JD Vance aspect, like where it's like, well, this is my last time in politics. I'm just running with Trump right now, and then I'm out of here. Nah, this guy has future aspirations, 100%. If you ask me,
he thinks he's gonna be president, but nobody's gonna fucking elect him.
Are you sure? Are you sure about that?
Nobody fucking likes him, dude.
All right, we'll see about that.
Yeah, we'll see, man. I don't know about that one. I understand Kash Patel is definitely
Not
on the
at the
chopping
level
block,
of
but
president.
less so JD Vance, right?
No, I'm saying he has no presidency chance.
All right.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
We'll time capsule. We'll
Trump
time
gets
capsule
taken
this.
out.
We'll time capsule this.
I'm not saying he would win, but I'm saying like
those are his aspirations.
That's what
you
I'm
don't
saying.
think people will, like, okay, well, if it's AOC or someone like that, right? You don't think they'd be like, okay, I'm voting for JD Vance.
Well, if it's down to 2, sure. If he's the one for the Republican
That's all they've
Party,
ever needed,
sure.
Dubster. That's all they've ever needed.
Right? But I'm saying if 10 different people enter and somebody's better, yeah, he's not there.
Who?
Rand Paul.
Come on. I mean, he could run, but like, let's be real, they're gonna work against him pretty heavily. It's once again, I don't think people view Rand the same as Ron, right? They view Ron as like a hero guy almost, right? Versus Rand as like, okay, he's better than those guys over there, but he's not Ron Paul.
He is 99% better than any Republican.
And would be accepted by, like, it's gonna smash another dream, bro. Straight up, it's gonna smash another dream. Like, how many more, like, what other areas can people go to? Can voters go to? If, let's say Rand Paul ran and won, and then we watch him do the same stupid shit we've seen every other fucking president do. That's all crushed now. Right? Let's say AOC ran and wins. That whole, like, oh my god, we need a progressive in office as president. And she fucks it up. Like I think she would do. Like, that gets crushed too. And it's like, where do you go now? And then it's the communist fucking manifesto, Dubster. Your worst nightmare. Where people are like, fuck it, we're going in the streets and we're taking over it. We're taking it over ourselves. Because we tried doing the voting thing, it's not working. And then the prophecy becomes true. Because I don't trust people with guns. To circle back a little bit. But yo, no matter who's in office, they always do the corrupt shit anyways. So thus, we need to take over, take our country back. You know? And I don't trust these fools with guns. Exactly. I don't trust these fools with guns.
But they would have to have guns.
I don't see heroes out there that are screaming for guns. I don't see heroes doing that. I see regular ass motherfuckers that if they heard a squeak noise, they might shoot at it because they're not that guy or that lady.
Depends on what the squeak is.
Exactly. And all it takes is one open fire, then boom, we're Syria all of a sudden. But good. But whatever. All right. Let's keep it moving. Let's play more of this. Here we go.
Don't we?
No,
as a country,
it's
there's
good,
so
right?
much fun.
I mean, they make
JFK tapes. Come on.
So I'm.
How much can you talk about what you've seen?
Not yet. Just what I've told you.
Can you say you've seen anything?
No, that's the point. That there's nothing in there, like in the video. You guys would be bored.
You talking about the video of the murder or the suicide?
The suicide.
But what about the video from the island?
Oh, sorry. So you're talking about two different things. So
sorry.
So again, we're going to give you everything we can, and people have to remember, we're not going to re-victimize women. We're not going to put that shit back out there. It's not happening, because then he wins. Not doing it.
And who wins? Oh, Epstein wins?
Epstein.
Once again, if you have adults that are able to handle these things, he's going to say it. I think he means, re-putting those guys back in that spot, like almost like recalling memory in a way. But I think that's a stupid fucking excuse and reason.
Oh yeah, if that's what we're fucking demanding is to say what happened in the court cases was bullshit, we're saying it.
Well, provide the fucking, just show us the evidence. Adults can handle that. If they are victims of it and they don't want to see it, they don't look at it. Pretty simple, right? If they do want to see it in order to corroborate that, yeah, this happened or that happened, or maybe I swear there has to be. I'm sure there's someone who's like a brave soul out there who's like, yo, I will put my life in front of everyone. Like, yeah, show this to the public. That's me. This is this fucking guy raping me, or whatever other person raping, or this guy recording me, or whatever. Just for the sake of the truth. So people see the truth. That seems possible.
Right.
How about you give them a choice to do that, Kash Patel? How about that?
There's a reason why we're led to look at certain people for being like partners with Epstein. Prince Andrew, this Jean-Claude guy, that's a French guy. There's the guy that was in charge of Victoria's Secret that sold Jeffrey Epstein his New York house for $1.
Yeah.
It's a fucking
Wexner.
$95 million mansion.
Leslie Wexner.
Right. Yeah, like we were led to those things previously. Why were we led to those things? What are you talking about? You're not gonna re-victimize. What do you mean re-victimize? We're not telling you to have these girls raped again.
Yeah. Well, I think he means like protecting the victims and the witnesses and all that stuff, which I understand. But you could do that.
You need to know the fucking dots of the accusations that came out previously, bare minimum.
Yeah. And this has nothing to do with the fucking surveillance. Like, he called it nothing, right? The Epstein killing himself is just like, oh, it's nothing. Nothing there. There's nothing in there. That one should be like, okay, then we release it on day one.
Yeah,
that should have happened during Bill Barr's time. That should have happened. Right?
If there's nothing in there, what's classified that is not connecting the dots to where it makes sense to you? He killed himself.
And adults can handle seeing that content, right? Allow them to pick through it. Like, once again, I understand they can. I'm trying to be like extra official about this, even though my true beliefs are. I think this guy's full of shit. Kash Patel. I think most of the FBI is full of shit. I think the president overlooking them is full of shit. I think the administration is full of shit. I'm just saying, like, on the surface here. With all the people that work at the FBI, right? That it's their jobs to be investigators and shit like that, right? To comb through evidence and like investigate things. Even with all that, regular ass people, if you give them the video where they can pick apart things and look at things and read timestamps, and they can do like almost a digital forensics on the fucking thing in a way, right? If you actually cared about finding out what actually happens, these motherfuckers can actually go through all of it and figure things out. They can actually do that. There's some really intelligent people out there in the world. But if you give them no evidence of anything, they can't do anything at that point. They're just guessing like the rest of us. You know what I'm saying?
So let me say this. Our Sixth Amendment says trials are to be public, as in all evidence for something is to be public. Now, I know they bent the rules on like rape victims and to where they aren't supposed to have to face their accusers and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was upheld in the Supreme Court that you do have to be able to, you have the right to face your accusers, even if it's a 3-year-old little girl. Creepy as fuck when that shit happens. But look, the principle is the reason why court is supposed to be public court is because we don't trust the government. We never did. That's why court is public.
Fair enough.
It's like,
but you don't expect that from these
that's why
guys,
there's
right?
not supposed. Yeah, but that's why there was never supposed to be any secret agencies. There was the original way before 1913, magical year again. Everything was public.
I mean, I don't know about that, but I get the idea. I'm more so following the spirit of an idea of a rule or something like that, where it's like just on the surface, like, yo, you should be sharing what you're doing with your citizens, right? Your population. You should be sharing that shit. But and yeah, I mean, I guess me and Kash Patel would move in the same direction in regards to this. Like, neither one of us are following the Sixth Amendment. Not me. Not the way I look at things.
But he's sworn to uphold the Constitution.
But what does that mean in reality? That means nothing in reality, right?
And until he was the FBI director, he was screaming, "I'm gonna uphold the Constitution, and I'm gonna find out about this Jeffrey Epstein stuff." Now it's flipped on its head.
Well, people can lie. That's why I'm saying, like, it does.
Was he lying then, or is he lying now?
I'm saying these rules don't matter for how things actually play out. It never actually mattered. You can say you'll do this and just not do it.
I know, but
because they're people. They're not actually sworn to a fucking thing.
Then you get to the question: was he lying then, or was he lying now?
I mean, I think he was lying then and now. I think he was lying then that he was actually going to, kick doors in to get this evidence out there. And I think he's lying now in regards to a lot surrounding this case.
Well, is this in this clip where he says? I know he said this in the Joe Rogan interview, but is it in this clip where he says he found some more evidence?
More evidence of what?
Said there's a room in the FBI building that was locked, and now they're in charge of the FBI. They've unlocked this door and found a whole bunch of Epstein evidence.
I'm not sure if it's this one or this one, but I think it's in there.
Okay.
But all right, let me keep playing. Here we go.
You want to hate me for it? Fine. Again, logical play out. If there was a video of some guy or gal committing felonies on an island and I'm in charge, don't you think you'd see it?
If you have access to it.
If I have it. Period.
Right.
If I have it.
So
where else would it be?
Right. If you have it.
Right.
But that's me. Like, you can't say that to me.
That's trust me again.
Yeah.
That's trust me again.
Yeah. I can't. Like, I don't know you, bro, to be like saying that type of shit. To be like, yeah, because it's you. You would do this, do X, Y, or Z. Right? I can't just run with that. I don't think. Like, he's like, Joe, come on, bro. If I had something, I'd tell everyone about it, bro. It's me. It's your boy Cash. Joe barely knows that guy too. Let's be honest.
Right.
So that's a non-starter of an argument. As much as as highly as I think of myself as, I can't even do that for a giant audience of people that don't know me. Right.
That's my local drug dealer saying, "Trust me, bro. It's fucking LSD. I promise." It turns out to just be a fucking Sour Patch candy.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Did he just say that he doesn't have any evidence like that?
Equivocally, yeah, that's what he said.
Yes, he's saying that, and he's also saying And
Also
you gotta
protect
believe it because
victims.
it's me, bro.
Yeah.
Go
So
back.
I
Go
could
back.
that is so patently false, right? Because well, first he actually did. What did he say? He said if he had it, he would. Yeah. So he said he didn't have that evidence, but we know like that we know the crimes that were committed. We don't know who. All of the information. We don't know who did what, but we know the crimes that were committed, and that the whole place had video, like all over
Right.
the building, right? Like he
We heard all about the
videotaped it,
cameras and everything.
the cameras, and that he recorded these things, and so that's why we can assume it's for blackmail. But at least that he recorded these things. So there's no way that he doesn't have any
Was the
any
victims?
evidence on people committing felonies.
Well,
That's
He's the first. He's
yeah.
the first human trafficker that didn't have customers.
yes, exactly. Well put. Well put.
I mean, Pam Bondi said that was it the tens of thousands of whatever, like terabytes of fucking video feeds and shit like that of CP, or I guess Epstein in CP. She said both, right? Like in a kind of a
Right.
weird way, the way she said it, right?
I don't know. What are those acronyms?
Child porn.
Oh, okay.
Like she was saying, like, wasn't she saying like we have video of him in child porn and him having child porn, which is like it's kind of two different things, right? It's him with someone else doing something with children, and then you have him where he's actually in the video feed with children, maybe others. Pam Bondi said that, right? That was the whole James O'Keefe thing, right? So then where's Cash? Where are we at here? And Kash Patel did mention he said like, oh, I don't want to re-victimize these people, right? But it's like
Sure, you don't have to show.
You
You don't
already
have to show
yeah.
people
exactly.
like but you just lied. Like right there, you just lied.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's no excuse for the Epstein killing himself part. There's no excuse for that one, right? Because it's just him. He's the only victim there, right? He kills himself, according to Kash Patel, right? So that one shouldn't. There's no girls at risk in that situation.
They're not claiming to have video of that. They're claiming they have a
I thought
video
they
of
were.
walking
I
around.
thought they were claiming that.
No.
He says he knows, and he can. God.
Hold on. What Dan Bongino said in an interview. No, I don't have the video of him killing himself. I have a video of him from the pod unit walking out of his cell to show that he was locked up. And that's proof that he killed himself.
That doesn't make any sense. I know you said that earlier.
I know it doesn't.
But I swore he was just saying that.
Makes no fucking sense.
But what did he say? What did he say to Joe though? What did Cash just say to Joe? He's like, "Trust me, it's boring. There's nothing there to it." Right? And then they started talking about conspiracies. Like, oh yeah, conspiracies are so fucking like juicy and dramatic to look at, right? But he's saying like the actual proof that he killed himself is boring.
No, what they could
is he talking about the same thing that
saying,
Bongino's talking about, Dubster? Do you think? Is that what Patel means by that? God.
What they could be saying, honestly, and they're not trying to say this in a way that's clear and honest, is we lack the evidence to prove that someone else killed him. Because the cameras were turned off.
They're straight up saying he didn't kill himself.
I know.
Or he did kill himself. I mean,
what they could honestly say is we lack the evidence that someone else killed him. So we can't bring charges upon anyone. That would be honest if they said it like that. They're not saying it like that. They're saying we can prove that he killed himself because we have video footage of him walking around out of his cell and into the pod. I don't know another term. That's what I've always called it. The bigger room for the jail where everybody can go into, and then your individual cell.
Yeah.
which is not proof at all for anything.
Yeah, it's not, and it would be further embarrassment. But maybe who cares, right? Like fuck it, you are now taking on the ride. We got your attention enough, so fuck it, right? Like, oh, you release a tape of him just walking around for a bit, right? You're like, oh, see, look, here's our evidence. People are gonna laugh at it and be like, yo, you're stupid. Fuck this shit. You guys are full of shit. But everyone's attention will be locked in on that shit while other things happen. Which is just doing his job, as FBI director. So,
Right. So if they said the other way, we just lacked the evidence to say someone else killed him because, the tape was destroyed. The witnesses were asleep. The roommate was moved out 2 days beforehand. He was taken off a suicide watch 24 hours in advance. So we just lacked the proof. That would be the honest thing to say. The lack to prove someone else killed him.
Yeah, they can't be honest here.
yeah,
They
they're
already
outright
showed-
clearing it. Almost like ordered clearing it. That's the way it sounds. Right?
Yeah. Who
There's
do you think killed him? Someone associated with the FBI or CIA for the purpose of maybe someone else, likely someone else, but it wouldn't be that someone else that actually got him killed. It would have to be a trained person that has clearances to enter jails.
Yeah.
AKA, it wouldn't be Hillary or Trump walking in there and doing it themselves.
Obviously, yeah. I mean, what a fucking mess. What a fucking mess. And guess what? As much as people would be like, oh, you wouldn't, this guy or that lady wouldn't do that because it'll look so bad. I don't think they give a fuck. I don't think they give a fuck. Or maybe they do, but they have to do it anyways. They have to, they have to allow themselves to look like idiots in front of everyone, basically. So, this is believable. That he's just openly lying to Rogan and all of his listeners. Because, if I look bad, who cares? Right? I'm cannon fodder.
Right.
But, all right.
And this looks bad.
He's
This
doing his
looks
job.
bad to anybody. Both sides of the aisle. This looks dumb.
Oh, yeah. But don't worry, if a Democrat gets in there next election term or whatever, they're not going to be asked about Epstein. They're going to call it a right-wing conspiracy. They are. Right? Use the usual suspects as proof of that. Like, oh, look at Candace Owens or Jake Shields or these guys that say Israel's doing everything bad in the world. They'll use them as examples of why you don't need to actually care about this story as much. I'm telling you, bro, it's a game, bro. It's a fucking game. And people have spent way too much time losing the game. Not that I playing the game. They're spending all this time playing the game. Instead of fuck games, we want real shit now. And really going about it. Not bullshitting about it. But we are where we are. Let's keep playing. See if the part that Dubster was bringing up earlier, see if that plays out here. Here we go.
Let's do it.
If I have it. Period.
Right.
If I have it.
So
he did the Rogan
else would it
stiff.
right, if you have it.
Right.
But you can't say that you have it.
No, we're giving you everything.
Intuitively
we have
comes off
so
as lying.
Everything we have so far is.
Have you guys gone over all the video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Right.
And
is there video from the island?
Not of what you want. The people out there have filled the void with can't wait to see X, Y, or Z.
Right, speculation.
And I'm like, here's the other thing I've been asking for, right? Openly.
Not
If
of
you
what
have
you want.
information on this?
Hold on, hit
Call
pause.
Tell us.
Remember the bloody mattress?
Bloody mattress? I probably haven't seen that one.
So in the tower, the above ground thing, somebody flew a drone onto the island and got video footage into the there,
okay.
and there was oddly a single bed in there, and it looked like it had a stain of blood. That could have been lighting that made it look like blood. But any which way, later the FBI came in and like cleaned everything out of the island.
Oh yeah, we just saw it from O'Keefe, right?
So they would have all that kind of evidence in their hand. There'd be videotapes when cleaned it all out, unless they didn't intentionally.
I mean,
Yeah,
good.
I hear like I think when people are liars like this, they look for ways to lie to you and even lie to themselves, like a way to feel correct. And he keeps saying the word available. He doesn't have them available. They're not available. Like he keeps using that word, which may mean they just moved it out to something else. Like they were this group never was able to touch it
Yeah.
because it's a different like department like that deals with like let's say covert operations, whatever.
Yeah.
So he keeps referencing this thing, and that can make him feel very confident that like he's telling the truth because of the way he structures it. But no matter what, he's deceiving and lying right there. Like it's very like otherwise there would be no if there's no crime, then I mean that's what he's basically trying to tell us is that there's no crime or we don't have any evidence of it. Like
or
it's
we
bullshit.
can't show it because it's
It's
child porn,
videotape
right?
you wouldn't even want. Or
Exactly.
it's
Yeah.
videotape you wouldn't want. How do you know what I wouldn't want?
Exactly. Right. This guy's
Maybe I'm
supposed
better
to represent
detective than
us,
you,
right?
and I can recognize a shoe pattern or something.
Exactly. Like this guy's supposed to represent us, right? He's our eyes and ears in that scenario. And he's supposed to be like, okay, I make sure I get the shit, right? The evidence, whatever I can get my hands on. And then that's when the public can like make a decision on something by, I would say, being careful
Decipher
for
the
sure.
videos.
Well, being careful and like, because you don't want to get anyone hurt, right? So you got to be careful with that. But at the same time, like the what we're getting from this guy is not what people want. Like it's actually like people are actually following that rule of thumb I have about like dumb guy logic and IQ tests. Like people are actually using it in regards to this case. They should use it everywhere else, but they don't. But they're using it in this case where it's like, yo, either show us or shut the fuck up, basically. Like, show us the definitive proof of X, Y, or Z, or fuck you, you're full of shit. It's that simple of an IQ test, and this is actually one of the few tests that I've seen that people don't actually fail on a mass scale. People are actually like, yo, if you don't actually give us anything, fuck you, you're full of shit. Thank you, but it should spread out more, I think, for using it.
How is any of the video gonna harm somebody if he doesn't have anything? Like the only thing that you can conclude from what he's saying is that he doesn't have anything. But he did.
No. I think he's saying what Pam Bondi was saying without saying it, is that they have numerous videos of child porn, right? And he's like, but the victims, man, if we do this, they'll relive the victimhood of it. And Jeffrey Epstein wouldn't want that. What did he say, Dubster? He said, that he would like that or something like that.
Re-victimize
Right?
them.
Yeah.
So
he would win. We don't want that.
So in this child porn, like would this child porn just like these are video cameras, right? Like on the wall, right? Like
I would assume, yeah.
Would these things just be like in a porn video, like this edited where they're not just wasting time in the beginning or the end. This is real footage. Like there's things that lead up to it. There's phone conversations. There's enormous amount of things that lead up in both directions. You don't have to show people. You don't have to, but at the same time, there is a customer, right? There is a person that's walking in that's not even in the same room with these people, right? Like they know exactly who showed up and who did things. And you don't need to see this. Like there's so much other things that like in a regular like footage.
Right, like
They've
cell phone
edited out.
triangulation. Cell phone
Yeah.
triangulation can place him here on this date. Who else was
Like,
here on this date? The
like
victim was
even if
here
it
on
was
this
just
date.
the door, like the door
Yeah.
camera, and okay, this person walked up, and then you don't have to show more. Like this person walked up and they committed crimes. Like, don't they have that? It's just
But
bullshit. Like, he's flat out lying.
well, that
Like,
makes.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying. I understand that completely. It makes me think of what Pam Bondi said. Where is it actually? Is it, persons of interest in regards to this child porn, or is it all Epstein? Like the way she said it, like, made it so vague. Towards like, do you mean just Epstein? Which means like the guy we already know is part of this shit, right? Thus, there wouldn't be some sort of extra list of people if it's just him. If it's just videotapes of him only, right? That's different
Okay.
than like, okay, we had this person walk in, this person walk in, like where it's like an actual like checklist of people now, of like, okay, we have them on footage saying, or they walked in the room, they did this act. We don't show the act, but we showed that they entered the room to do that, right?
Yeah.
I get that, but I don't know what Pam Bondi's saying in regards to what the child porn thing is. I don't know if it means a bunch of different people like entered a room, or if it's just strictly just Epstein.
I don't need to go by what Pam Bondi saying, right? Like we know.
I'm just saying, like, what videotapes they claim to have. Okay, good.
Well, even what he's claiming that he has, he's like, we don't have anything like of interest. It's like nothing that you want to, like, what is it, boring? Like, they're just flat out lying, and there's no there's no way that if you piece together, like, even from years ago, like what we know, like what's concrete fact, like like these situations, who like why was he in jail? Like,
Yeah.
we know these things. We know he had there's many parties, right? Like he flew people in constantly. They just showed up, and sure, he could have been talking about stocks or tried to do whatever. But like, if we're saying that all of these people that came, like, he has basically a sex ring, and like Tubster said, no customers. Like, it was all just for him. Then
Right.
But
I
if
mean,
they're saying that's all they have, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
oh, we did a criminal on paper. You got it.
Okay, so my concern is more on the police side. The FBI, when they raided his place, that big of an operation, that public of a case, they would have filmed going through there. Obviously,
Oh,
that
yeah.
could be they didn't film because it was a cover up. But if it was, they were trying to be legit, they didn't know that the stuff was going to be hidden from them by higher ups, they would have filmed when they raided the island. So they would have walked
Yes.
through the tunnels. They would have saw like where they're keeping these hostages, these sex slaves at. They would have seen like facilities set up to manage all of this, cages or however they're doing it, chains on a wall, or just locked
That does
into
not have to
a
be the case,
bedroom.
Tubster. Real quick, that does
I'm
not have
just
to be the
giving out
case.
possible.
Well,
Yeah, I'm giving out possible examples of
I'm saying it could be
what I
just people
imagine.
actually going with it that are like children that don't know any better, right? And they get tricked or whatever the fuck into a scenario. That could definitely be the case too. Like, oh, we're a modeling agency. Come join us, right?
You would see the FBI walking through and looking throughout all of the house.
Yes.
And all of the caves and shit. We know there's tunnels on the island. That's been public for 7 years.
If they were doing their job, every inch would be videoed and photographed. Not just video, photographed as well. If they were doing their jobs correctly, right? They would be. So,
right. I mean, that's
I agree with
that's
you
as
on
that's as old as the 70s, if not older. To take pictures of crime scenes.
Yes, like as is, like not to tamper it and like actually get like as much shit as you can for or for recall, right? To see it again. Like, oh, let me look at this image again just to like pull back from it. Like, oh, what's this hairbrush? They'd bag everything. Like if they were doing their jobs like thoroughly and correctly, they'd have everything would be accounted for. Everything would be. But then again, I'm looking at this and I'm wondering if their own like if the FBI at the time or whoever, right, was like, yo, the perpetrator is Epstein, maybe Maxwell, but they're together, and we're only investigating them. Thus, the only evidence we actually have is on that guy and that woman, and that's it.
Right.
As far as customers, right, other perpetrators or something, we leave them out, and we don't actually collect their evidence, or we don't go over it like that, which would be crazy. That'd be crazy, right? But I'm just saying.
How do we get the picture
a lie.
of
Exactly, Jesse.
how do we get the picture of Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky's dress, and then George Bush playing with the ABC's thing?
Well, that's
Those are
you
both
internet leaping
Epstein
there.
pictures.
Yes, the
No,
Bill
it's
Clinton thing
Epstein
is
pictures. They're evidence. They're evidence.
Yes.
Documented evidence for the case. So they did take pictures for these cases.
Yes.
Well,
the Clinton in a blue dress thing, but
that's a painting. Anyways,
they can't do that against you, right? Technically, they can't do that. They can be like, "Oh my God, you have a picture of this guy. That means you tried to assassinate him," right? They can't do that.
No, I'm not. I'm not saying. What I'm saying is they walked through these places. These at least three that are in America places that Jeffrey Epstein owned, and they documented some forms of evidence to prove the cases that he was convicted for. But they never made it public. But somehow that leaked.
Wait. He wasn't convicted, right? Didn't he die before real trial? Like a real
No, he was.
You are convicted.
He was convicted.
Sorry. Yeah. You're right. You're right. The first time in Florida. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
And you got probation to where you gotta come to jail on the weekends.
Yeah. Which is like kind of like a mockery of a court, right? Of a court case or whatever. In that regard, that's probably why I didn't even think of it. I was thinking of the New York one where it's like there was no like trial yet. He died before that, right?
Right. You died before that. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
God damn, this is I get why it's so why it grabs your attention so much. It is a crazy idea and story happening in real life.
It's blatant cover up, right? Like,
yeah.
It.
I think so.
It's. I don't know how you can conclude otherwise. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist. It's like you look at, for example, okay, everybody that comes on the island, nobody else was involved with this. Now you have somebody like Prince Andrews, Prince Andrew, who basically incriminates himself. Like,
yep.
I mean, that like he did it repeatedly.
I think Alan Dershowitz did the same thing. I think he incriminated himself too. But yeah,
so they incriminate themselves, but you could still leave maybe a sliver of space there, right? So well, let's say, was Prince Andrews actually innocent? Like, do they have video like of his innocence and not saying anything, or do they, or the opposite? Like,
the correct answer is not say
videotape
anything, Jesse. It's
they
not saying
videotape
anything.
these things, and there's no way they don't do it for like some kind of leverage on these powerful people, right? Like,
that seems distinctly
especially because they're
very
hidden
possible.
cameras.
Yes,
They're not.
Very
They're
possible.
not like, hey, there's a party. We're gonna videotape this. It's not like that. They're hidden cameras. So yeah.
But the Prince Andrew thing, once again, damn, I sound like an asshole saying all this, but I'm trying to say like where I think the FBI will come from in regards to this discussion. And with Prince Andrew, that's off of Virginia. What's her name? Gouffre?
Roberts Gouffre.
Yeah. Roberts is what I knew her as originally. All right. And then Gouffre later.
One's her maiden name.
Yeah.
Yeah. Once she married, her name changed.
Yeah. And I think that's her testimony, right? And then there's pictures of her and Prince Andrew together, right? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
So that's where that comes from. They have never mentioned any type of videotape where they're actually in a sexual act together. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm telling you, like
they don't have to Do they?
She was in.
I don't
She
think so. I'm
massaged
saying
him
like
on the
where the
plane.
FBI's gonna what they're gonna
She
use.
massaged him on the plane. It turned inappropriate, and it was sex when she was 17. That's what her
Yes.
full testimony.
Yeah, and others I think have said something about
But no
Prince and
video
other
of
people.
that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is where I'm like, what do they
don't
claim to
say
have?
this. They can just pretend to be the most incompetent, people. That
Yeah.
they can't get one drop of evidence, like in all of this, because nothing there like is anything interesting to the general public, right? So there's no evidence of anything. So d- and they had like he's dead, so they had actual access to all of these things, but they're
Yeah.
just that incompetent. Yeah.
No, that's yeah. I agree with you. I think all this is bullshit. It's just I'm trying to like think the way they're thinking of strategies to hide what the fuck happened, to hide it. You know?
But remember, they had fucking individuals testify that were like, "Yeah, I worked on the island. Yeah, I was a pilot for the guy." And they told us more than the government's ever fucking told us.
Yeah. But it's in your face, kind of like he's like, yo, if there's nothing there, why not just show everyone what you have? All right. That's the most dumb guy logic thing of all time. Just show us what you have because it's nothing anyways. So show us. It's
Right.
boring. Okay,
Why is it
show us the boring
classified?
stuff. Why not? You know,
Court cases are supposed to be public anyway.
until they don't
I'm
want it
allowed to
public.
look.
Yeah.
Right. And I can go look up a murderer's public trial. As long as he's
Exactly.
not famous, it's not a problem.
Exactly. It's it's like they're working hard for that.
And murder's a worse crime than this, right? On their ranking scale.
I think people that fuck with kids, as far as regular civilians, I think is on a worse scale than even committing
I
murder.
mean on the government scale.
Like the murderers
ranking
kill the
it,
baby
like,
rapers. What's up?
I'm saying you get more time for being a murderer than pedophile. Their
Yeah,
scale.
yeah. But I mean, they're people and they're following some rules that are there already, and they're doing that. But if they actually had the choice of like who would they punish more, they would. I would think most cops or lawyers or prosecutors or whatever would pick punishing the pedophile more. I think.
Right, but that's yes. But that's what I'm saying.
I know what you mean by lawful. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, on their measurement of their ranking of punishment, they consider the murderer to get more time and a harsher punishment on for the public's measurement. So I'm allowed to go and look at a murderer's full entire case, like I don't know, somebody that was actually innocent, the hurricane.
Yeah.
We could always have looked at that case.
Let me
and
ask.
That's how they found out he was innocent.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Let me ask this though. What if their mindset is, once again, this is not what I agree with. I'm just saying like a possible scenario of mentalities. What if they're thinking like almost like the idea like a meteor's about to hit the Earth, right? Or an asteroid or whatever. Like we can't tell people because they'll fucking start rioting and panicking and fucking each other up. What if this thing is so crazy, like as far as the list, the names, the videotapes, who could be there, who could be on it? What if they're so worried about, like, if this went out to the world in one shot, right? Every name, every piece of evidence. What if they just start rioting and tearing down their fucking capitals and governments and all that shit? They just rip it apart because of, it's the essential like collusion of criminal actions between so many quote unquote powerful people. All right, what if that's their worry? I'm just throwing it out there. Not saying I agree with that. I'm saying I'm throwing it out there though.
That is likely why considered national security
I think they could say that.
because
God, one of you. God.
because that national security issue would make it like a threat to the entire government beyond just the individuals on the
Yeah.
list.
Yeah, I think it would, because if you're in the United States government right now, you've probably brushed shoulders with, had a lunch with, had a meeting with, or known of, just like regular people who are like innocent of all this stuff, but just because Epstein has $1 billion, it can buy the way into your concert or your studio or whatever. You just meet them because of that, right? Like that can happen too. I'm just saying, like it'd be so many like I guess snowballing effect. I think would happen, right?
Right.
Well,
So some payoff money could have leaked into another big project, which makes that project corrupted.
Yeah, it could be
Et
someone
cetera,
who
et
has nothing to
cetera.
do with child trafficking. They're just like, but the guy has $1 billion,
Yeah.
right? He's moving money around and shit like that. So we end up, or
Yeah,
someone
you
that's
took
that's
you took 50 grand of
100%.
that money and didn't know it was child porn money.
No,
Yeah.
there's definitely innocent people there, but we have lists and lists of people that were that we know we're traveling there or we're meeting with them, all that.
Yeah.
And right now, I would say like that list is a suspect list, right? If
Yes,
you
they should be
were
heavily like
arresting,
questioned and investigated. Yeah.
yeah.
God.
Now, if you were arresting people, which they're obviously, I mean, they're not like years and years are passing. They're not arresting people, and so if they were
Two people
if they
too.
had these videos and they were like, all right, these people are guilty, these are not, or they have some kind of evidence, and they start pursuing those things,
Yeah.
then you'd be like, oh, this person, they had nothing, like he showed up on the on, they did conduct the business, they left, and it's like you could actually clear people's names. like
Yeah.
right now they're all suspects, and this is uh the fact that they're not getting anybody means that they're covering so deeply, and you're leaving people out on the streets. You're like some of these may be like they didn't only go to Epstein for this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like they could have gone to
Obviously.
other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like they're leaving them out on the streets. They're basically supporting this indirectly. Like I think that, or directly, whatever. But I I think that the fact that they're not like getting people, like maybe they don't have all of like 100% of video of everything.
Yeah.
um and you may even clear some people, like, or if you go by that logic, they didn't have any evidence, you might clear people unintentionally, whatever. But you have to handle what you do have. And if you don't, if you're worried that somebody powerful gets you know caught,
Get
then
waxed.
we're in a bad situation here. That, like, this is really, like,
Right. If this
isn't it a
isn't
support
handled,
of those crimes to like not prosecute them?
if this
I
isn't
mean,
handled, it's the government's already collapsed, and we don't even. We're just living under these rules because we're scared.
yeah. And I mean, yeah, this topic, like that, like I, it should be like you guys, you're adults, and you can handle looking at evidence for the sake of figuring out a crime. If someone does something like that you said, Dubster, of like their by their standards, this is supposed to be a worse crime, right? Right, like murder, right? The fucking Luigi guy, right? Have you seen this face before?
Yeah.
Please call in and give us evidence if you know anything about it, right?
Right.
I think you should be able to do that with the Epstein thing too. I would think, right? But there's like I think like a social stigma to it. that kind of I don't know. I don't know. It's something
What if
with
it's also
kids, man,
this?
where people get really shook about it, and I understand. It's
What
just
if
like
what if it's also this?
yeah, God,
So let's just make up a name. So I'm not like accusing anybody.
yeah,
Let's say Bob was there for Epstein's list. He's on the list. Bob's on the list.
okay,
And they know they're gonna come up to Bob and they're gonna say, "All right, Bob, you're under arrest for this." And then he says, "I'll make a deal with you. I'll turn in Frank over in the House of Representatives because he's been doing this. He has nothing to do with the child porn shit that Epstein was doing, but he's doing this other crap thing. And I got
yeah,
19 other people besides Frank that are doing also this. So he's got blackmail, and he's like, and if you arrest me, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to start talking about Frank and those 19 other people with their other crap thing that has nothing to do with this." So
yeah.
he's like, I got you by the balls. You can't actually arrest me.
Hmm.
Well, then what does this department exist for? Like, what's the point of their point of their existence?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, the government's already collapsed if they're not going to do anything about this.
I think we understand their point, but we don't actually hold anyone to that standard, to that moral standard. Let's be real. It's about morality. Let's be honest. Someone does something that we all consider bad. They're supposed to go get the bad guy, right? That's the like dumb guy watered down version of what they're supposed to actually be doing, right? We agree with that, right? But
Yeah, basically.
yeah, but these guys are just people. They're just people. Meaning, you know, maybe there are trees too much to bark up, if that makes sense. Like, okay, we can't touch that.
Like Lord of War. Yeah.
And yeah,
like Lord
exactly.
of War
Actually,
with Nicolas
good.
Cage.
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta let me go. The president's gonna call in about 3 minutes, and he's
Yep.
gonna say you gotta let him go because I'm actually one of his customers. So
Which is, to me, scary as shit. And I won't lie, I feel like when I'm watching Kash Patel in this little interview so far, the looks on his
that's what it is.
face just feel like doesn't feel like confident. Like, yeah, I know I'm lying. It feels like I know I have to lie type shit. Just the way, just the look of the guy. Smells like that to me. Doesn't smell like a
Yeah.
There's something.
you know. Hey, good.
We've seen endless government officials like lie to us, like under oath in Congress, and remember they're not wiretapping Americans. All these things
Yeah.
they lie to us, and that's their job. Because like like they're just showing us that how they're willing to deceive us because um w- like it's not about like getting the criminals, right? Because if it was,
No.
um we had a housing crisis, right? Like it was at the Big Short one.
Yeah.
Like there was such massive fraud at levels of over levels over levels. Like
Yeah.
so, there was the banks, there was the mortgage agencies, there was the rating agencies, there was individuals with like lying on their application.
Yeah.
There was such crime up and down that thing, and so well, maybe you can't get that many people, but you go well, who made like the top decisions or who were the biggest ones? But they're the ones that were actually protected. I think less than a handful of people went to jail for this, and they were like really small people. They're just
There's one guy. There was one
one
guy
Yeah.
guy.
there.
One guy
Yeah,
got scapegoated. Bernie Madoff.
yeah,
He's Jeffrey Epstein
yeah,
of finance, I guess. Right.
exactly. So like all of this tells you like it's very clear that they're protecting people who have power, and that's obviously their job. Like we see that.
I mean, but Jesse, when you look at it, does it work? It fucking works, doesn't it? It fucking works.
Work to fool people?
No. Well, in regards to like, there's no. In my mind, of what would be like the perfect scenario or perfect action of the populace of society itself, we never see that thing. I don't think of like people are like, okay, no more. Let's go simple here. Let's say income tax is considered bad, right? Or we don't like income tax, right? Imagine society simultaneously being like, "Yo, we don't like income tax. We're done with it." As a whole, everyone just did that.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be done with, right? It'd be gone. It'd be gone, right? So with these guys, where a scenario that's where it's like blatantly corruption, right? Trafficking children for sex acts, and you're selling the kids off for sex acts and all that shit, bro. Blatantly.
Mm-hmm.
No way around it. Blatant, right? And yet, this guy can go on the Joe Rogan podcast and tell us, like, well, there's nothing there. At the same time, right? Considering all the things we've seen so far, will it actually just go through, right? Maybe cathartically we'll be like, oh my God, you see what Kash Patel said on the fucking Joe Rogan podcast? Oh my God. Where you like got your complaint in, right? You got your feel bad in, right? But does anything actually change when people complain about this motherfucker on the Joe Rogan podcast? Does anything actually change? Like actually, where the apparatus changes? Do we have that actually? I don't think so.
So the only thing
So it works, I think, in a way.
I think it. If I've only seen like a minute of this, but
fair enough.
If Joe doesn't press on him, doesn't ask like some of like some of the questions I just asked, right? Like doesn't clarify things that he understands is true, then in a way, whether it's for being friendly with people and getting guests or whatever his motivation, that helps like kind of close the book on this. Like, okay, he was on Joe Rogan, nothing happened, close the book. You know, like as opposed to like when you press somebody, like he's what did he press people on marijuana, right? Like like when you press somebody on something, like you don't let them weasel out, right? Like you just there's things that are known to be true that like his words are very incompatible with it. So like
but
it's just
I'm
clear
saying
that
Jesse,
he's lying.
I'm saying
Mhm.
though, Jesse, it's like think of this scenario, right? It's super rich, powerful guy, quote unquote powerful, shit ton of money, right? Procures young girls, under the age of 15, like young girls, right?
Yeah.
And then sells them to other rich elite guys, whether they're celebrity or just rich or the oil barons or financial kings, whatever the fuck they are, right?
Yep.
Like that's a script in a movie, dude, right? Of like actions being done in the world. That's a script in a fucking movie. Of like the thing that everyone grabs popcorn and throws at the fucking screen, right? They're like, fuck you guys are trash, we hate you guys, you're villains, right? That's happening as far as we understand in our real world, essentially, right? And it's like, what if I'm just thinking about this, I'm like, wait a minute, if that doesn't get people to be like, wait a minute, what do we do with our world now? What's our point now? Like, what's our point here? Like, what are we doing here? Because I assume, no offense to a lot of people, I assume that after they watch this and they're like, fuck you, Kash Patel, you're lying to us, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. The next day they go to work and forget it's happening, in a way. Like, oh, whatever, I gotta go to work and do this. But once I get off of work, actually, I'm gonna watch Game of Thrones tonight. I'll watch Game of Thrones. And like there's so many like pulls, attention pulls, where like even the most movie-like crime right? Obvious bad guy crime happening. Nothing actually happens. I mean, it happens. It does. Something does happen, but not like directly, not one to one, not in real time. Okay, we're not doing anything until this shit is solved. Like that type of thing. No one's doing that.
You
No. Yeah, go ahead.
you just said that like if everyone agreed to not have the income tax, then we would not have it, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. So if um, so what is happening that doesn't translate in a situation like this? They're saying enough things that appease people, and that's what I mean
Yeah.
about like uh, like, oh yeah, he just said something that can make sense, but like if you don't think about it enough, yeah, that can make sense. But that's why you have an interviewer that you'd want to press on those things, or maybe you just preparation, and you forget things, so you review that stuff ahead of time, like just
Almost infotainment.
not letting things slide so that it doesn't close the book on this so people could just go to sleep, because
Yeah.
like you have to be clear that he is lying, who came off the show and that everybody was like, yo, this guy's lying, was the Douglas Murray guy, right? Like you look
Yeah.
at everybody who watched that, is like, yo, this guy's lying, and so he doesn't end up really um, um, he basically, after the show, even though they didn't really press him, like there was enough like exposure that like he cannot be trusted. Like enough people who would watch that would understand he can't trust this guy.
Yeah. But that was Murray's doing though, versus
Yes,
this
that he did
where
it himself.
Cash is
Yeah,
he's shucking. He's like, oh well, we're trying, and we got nothing. It'd be boring if we actually showed you. It'd be boring. He's trying to be like nice guy about it instead of like what Douglas Murray did, which was like absolutely like self implode himself. He threw a grenade at his own feet and blew it up, basically. Versus Cash, I think he's being a little bit more savvy in protecting himself and the administration most importantly. But yeah, go ahead.
yeah. No, I think he's doing like I guess a good job at his line.
No, he's doing a horrible job. But
Yeah,
the point is that he's not being belligerent, right?
yeah.
Where he's like, yo, fuck you. I know better. Have you ever seen the video? Have you ever seen? Huh? He's not doing that, right? He's not being pompous about it. He's just like.
No, he's being what video?
He's being
So
he's being blatantly like full of shit, but like not in a I'm gonna punch you in the face type of way. I'll let you punch me because I'm being full of shit so much. That he's like doing that. I think it's like, yeah, go ahead, throw tomatoes at me. Don't worry about the administration. Throw rotten tomatoes at me. Just like Pam Bondi, just like Bongino or whatever, just like who's the other motherfucker? The fucking Israel guy. Like, yeah, throw rotten tomatoes at me. Alleviate your frustrations on me. Meanwhile, the whole thing behind Kash Patel, the FBI, the CIA, the Trump administration, they just keep moving like nothing happened. It's all good for them. Right now, we just get to yell at Kash Patel and Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino. We get to yell at them and feel good about ourselves. Like, look, we destroyed him. Look, these questions destroyed Kash Patel. Meanwhile, the apparatus is fine. They're cool. They're chilling.
they still have their jobs.
Yes. But it doesn't matter if you fire, Kash Patel and replace him with Christopher Wray. It doesn't matter. As we've seen. Pam Bondi versus Bill Barr. Doesn't matter. Apparently. As far as like actions we see done, like it doesn't matter. These faces get rotten tomatoed and then thrown out.
Chris Bray was so corrupt, Biden didn't even get rid of him, and Trump appointed him.
I mean, yeah, that's very damning.
Like, it's a 10-year position, and until Chris Bray, he wasn't fired until Trump came back, which would have been the first one that ever be fired before the 10-year period.
I mean, I've heard this idea about politics and PR, to where it's like it's almost therapeutic for people to have some sort of clown or clown-like jester put in front of you for you to beat up. And it's like, damn, yeah, oof. Thank God I took care of that Epstein thing, because Patel is full of shit, right? You feel good about beating him up verbally or intellectually, right? But as far as like the actual topic, nothing actually happens in regards to that. Instead, we're just mad at Kash Patel. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
I'm
I'm worried
mad
about
at people. Yeah, no, but I know what you're saying, and I think that Rogan plays this part here. Like the environment looks more casual than like a news um channel, but
He's
but
smoking a cigar.
he's taken that spot of of mainstreaming and appeasing people. Like this is to appease people. This is to pacify it. Like that's what happens here.
I think so.
Want somebody to do the
Whether on
interview
purpose or
that's
not.
saying that's bullshit what you just said. Look, where's you're telling us this dude killed himself, but we got doctors telling us from the autopsy report that he strangled in a way you can't strangle from suicide. Where's Joe Rogan saying that? Why didn't Joe Rogan bring that part up?
True. But then
He
again,
did. I watched the whole episode. He brought
did?
that up. He did. I don't think how I don't know how
Please
much you
provide
watched
a
it.
clip.
He
Please
brought up
provide a clip of
Doctor.
that.
No, you got to watch the whole thing. It's on YouTube. But yeah, he brought that up. They talked about it too.
What'd he say?
Dr. Baden up in New York, the physician,
the
the
celebrity
forensic
doctor,
physician.
yeah.
Yeah, celebrity doctor. So they didn't really get into a back and forth on it, but Cash was like, well, there's also other doctors, and they said this. So it's, I don't know. He also says there's a tape. Cash says he's going to release the tape of Epstein killing himself, so we can all watch it.
No, that is not what they said.
The tape
You gotta
was something else. Yeah.
You gotta go to the
whole
other
thing, that's
interview
exactly
Dan
what he
Bongino. Hold on. You gotta go to the other interview Dan Bongino had, and the guy straight up asked him, "Oh, you're gonna release a video of him killing himself?" No, we're not doing that. What we're doing is hold on, let me finish, man. What we're doing is we're releasing a video of him walking around his pod, coming out of his cell. So that proves that he killed himself. That's what Dan Bongino, and that's paraphrased almost exactly to what he said.
According to Cash, he's saying that's the only video they have, so that's what he's going to throw out there.
No. Hold on. Because Cash and Bongino are saying, like, yeah, after seeing evidence, we now know he did kill himself. That's what they're saying. They're not saying, like, it's in doubt or there's lack of evidence, as Dubster said earlier, right? You were saying that earlier, right? You're like, oh, it'd be better to say we don't have enough evidence to say what happened. But these guys are coming out and saying, like, yo, he killed himself. They're saying that.
Looking into older interviews, I'm just with Rogan and Cash were talking about. And Cash was like, you don't have to believe me. I'm going to put all the information out there, and you can judge for yourself. That's what he said on Rogan.
But they came out and said that he did kill himself. They're saying that, which means they have evidence for that, which means show us. Right?
I know. He also said, make up your own mind because we already did. And he's sticking by his guns. He thinks he killed himself according to what he said on Joe Rogan.
Fair enough. I mean, well, yeah, I went over it with his congressional, whatever it was, panel or whatever the fuck he did. I said that there, but if it's just clean slate like that, nothing weird about it, then show everyone. But I also think this shit is being used as like a distraction from real thinking, in my opinion. This is very dramatized, if you ask me. You know what? I'll play more of this. I have not seen the whole podcast, so you unflake me on that, Harrison. Fair enough. But you know, I'll check it out. I'll check it out. Maybe. Once again, I think this is like borderline infotainment, which is why it's you know, not so high on my list of priorities. But it is. I mean, it is. But it's just like very tangled down, like trapped down with fucking infotainment. But all right, here we go. Let's play more of this. Here we go.
That's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Right.
And
Video, but you can't say that you have it
no, we're giving you everything we have.
so far.
Everything we have so far is.
Have you guys gone over all the video that's available?
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. That's what takes so much damn time.
Right.
And
is there video from the island?
not of what you want. The people out there have filled the void with can't wait to see X, Y, or Z.
Right, speculation.
And I'm like, here's the other thing I've been asking for, right? Openly. If you have information on this, call us. Tell us. The best resource we have is the American people in the world.
Right.
Get me the tail numbers. Get me the flight, get me new information, and I will run that down.
So this narrative might not be accurate.
He's doing Rogan sniffing, by the way. It's weird.
Exactly.
Is it possible that the video was taken and destroyed?
Well, you're talking about, decades worth of stuff, right? Remember, we have what we have pursuant to lawful search warrants and authorities from the case that was done however many years ago it was done. That's what we have. If other people have other stuff and they want to give it to us, bring it.
Have you guys reviewed everything that you have?
Almost. Yes, we have, and now we're figuring out how to
You said yes earlier,
Right.
but
put it out.
okay. So we're trying to figure out ways to put it out with that aren't. It has to be CP then, right? At that point, that he's talking about right there. It has to be, I guess, pornographic in
He's
nature,
not saying
right?
nothing. He's not saying nothing.
I'm saying, like, if I take his words as, gospel, what he's saying is, oh, it's too graphic to show to the public, I guess.
Is there one specific thing like that he just like? What did he actually claim that he will do? We'll put it out there. Like, there's nothing like
Yeah.
like what's it?
Exactly. No, you're right about that, and it also it's on a podcast, which means diddly, I think, in the courtroom, right?
I mean, he's not going to publish like all of the tapes, right? Like, they're not going to do that. So, like, it sounds like they will, but that's not even the point. Like most of it would be boring, like obviously, but
Yeah.
like it makes it sound like yeah, we're gonna give you it. Like it's bullshit.
We'll give you what we have, which apparently is not anything. Which means
Right.
every little investigation that these motherfuckers have done showed nothing. Apparently, every investigation that's been done that they're like, oh my god, we're gonna do a fucking trove of fucking documents about this or that, apparently actually showed nothing the whole time.
And he makes it
In
sound like
every
when
scenario.
he says decades of film, like yeah, the video might like run for like 24-hour surveillance or something, right?
Yeah.
But they keep certain films, right? Like they save certain ones. It's not just like like oh well that was a week ago and that's all the memory I have. So it's gone. Yeah, that's not the way that works, right? Like they're like, oh shit, we had this guest save, right?
Yeah.
like like
I think
I
these
mean,
are dumb
like
fuck
what he
children that
says
think they're
sounds
smart. They're not actually smart.
yeah.
Though.
It's like oh yeah, like that was years. Like, but it sounds like it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. It's like-
once again, part of me considers the whole asteroid aspect, where like an asteroid's about to hit the Earth, and like, okay, we can't tell anyone because they'll panic and start killing each other. So we'll keep it secret. I consider that I leave a little bit of room for that stuff, but at the same time, don't insult my intelligence. Basically, like you guys are not that smart. Sorry, no offense to them. They're not that smart. And they're trying to, in my opinion, like alleviate, for whatever reason, who knows, whether it's for saving the world or hiding corruption, whatever the reason is, they're bad at it. Let's be honest. They're bad at hiding these things. I'm sorry, dude. Like no one's like we're not children, bro. We're don't talk stupid to us. In my humble opinion. Now let me play the other clip. I have not watched this one really thoroughly. I decided because Alex Jones's like ad at the end is a blue his blue liquid droplet thing. But okay. David Icke says, "Are you getting it yet, Alex?" In response to strange breaking admission, FBI Director Kash Patel admits he has not seen the pathologist's report that states Jeffrey Epstein was murdered by strangulation. This report was everywhere within days of Epstein murder.
I got it.
Which is, yeah.
I got it. I got the Joe Rogan, or not Joe Rogan, Dan Bongino talking about it. I'm about to put in fan request. It's at 3 minutes into this video.
Fan request, 3 minutes. Okay.
Hold on. Give me a second to put it in there.
Yeah, you got it.
It's a Hannity interview.
It's both of them, right? Am I tripping? It's Cash and Dan, right?
No, this is Dan by himself with Hannity.
Okay.
At 3 minutes, give it some time to play. And he was just talking about terrorist stuff before, but he's covering a bunch of topics. But
okay,
he's covering the videotape. And just listen to what he says word for fucking word so you understand Harrison.
Fuck. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I got it, I think. In their video feed, right? 5 minutes on.
Yeah. 3 minutes in.
Or 3 minutes, sorry. Christ.
All right, we continue now with FBI Deputy Director Dan Bongino. Dan, sorry about that technical. I never knew there were 10,000 hours of tapes. And was it suicide? You said there's a
Jesus
tape,
Christ.
JFK, RFK, MLK files. All of that is still coming, correct?
Yeah, JFK, we're done. The FBI's equities in that, we've already released
yeah, we're
that.
done.
What?
RFK, I got to check back on that one. There is more coming on the Epstein files. Listen, I know this is a hot potato for folks.
Right
I totally
here.
understand. My comments were clear. I'm not paid for my opinions anymore. I work for the taxpayer now. I'm paid on evidence. That's it. The evidence we have in our files clearly indicates that it was, in fact, a suicide. We do have video. It's
but the whole wait a minute.
Hold on, right here. Listen to this right here.
Okay. Sorry.
It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. It's not the greatest video in the world. I don't want to set expectations on fire. However, the video does show in that specific block that he goes in, made a phone call. You'll see 12 hours of guards going to basically check on him, come back. You'll see no one really comes out in that bay, in that area, than him. There's no one in there. When you combine that with the other evidence we will be releasing in the coming weeks, we're still finalizing some of the products. I think it's pretty clear. However, as I've clearly indicated in some of my tweets on my official account.
It's a tape of nothing.
Yeah, that's what I just heard.
But he's saying because he didn't see a direct video of Epstein killing himself, he's saying that means there is no, like, he didn't kill himself, right? There's like a lack of, okay, you affirm something, right? That's the affirmative at that point, right? He didn't, or he did kill himself, right? He's affirming that. Thus, provide evidence to showcase that. lack of evidence of the otherwise does not mean that he did just kill himself, right? Am I tripping?
He's claiming.
Yes,
No,
you're
correct. You're correct. But he's claiming that this is evidence. And what he's saying is that like the reason he says there's evidence is because he got all these hours where like I guess he goes in or
He makes a
whatever,
phone
like
call
the
in the pod.
circumstances around it make it where
That doesn't make sense.
yeah, but that's how he's claiming that that's the evidence.
Because I didn't see him kill himself means, or
You see nobody go in
sorry,
there.
I didn't see evidence of him killing himself means he didn't kill himself. Makes no sense in the investigative world at all. That makes no
He's
sense.
saying that
Nothing.
the video doesn't show anybody like walking in there and then walking out.
So what? The point is, isn't to like run with one narrative. It's supposed to like leave room and like find out what happens through evidence, like through studying things, right?
Right.
Doesn't
Like
make any sense.
before, like a whole day before, right? Like they could have, like whatever happened. Like
Exactly.
there's still space.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember the date and time of his death reported to the public?
No, I don't. Personally.
Okay, so is this videotape going to be date and timed?
No, but they're saying, aren't they saying the cameras are off at that point? God.
Well, he said it's going to be a grainy video, and he's going to put AI to it to make it a more clear video for you. How hard is it to put a timestamp on a video? He said, "I'm going to give you." He's done this. He's done interview tours with this topic, and he said, "I'm going to do an edited video, but I'm also going to give you the original, so that you can enhance so you can see it is Epstein."
Yeah.
You need the original.
So the original, he's really grainy. You can't exactly tell it's Epstein. So we got one video, you can't tell it's Epstein. The second video is going to be edited so that you can tell it's Epstein. So how do we know it's even Epstein? And
why wouldn't
what's he
kill
doing?
himself?
He's walking around.
Philosophically,
What he's saying,
correct.
What he's saying, Harrison, is I got video of him walking around. How does that prove the way he died?
Well, I think they need some evidence of somebody going in there and killing him, and I don't think they have that.
But they don't even have. Hold on. They don't even have evidence that he killed himself.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, because you don't have evidence of someone going in there and killing him, does not mean he actually killed himself. That doesn't mean that at all. That is bullshit. That's a bullshit reason especially for investigators at the highest level. That makes no sense.
You don't have him being murdered or committing suicide on videotape. So that doesn't mean anything to us.
A better answer would have been like, I don't know what's happening. Would have been a better answer, I think. God.
He would have to come forward, and apparently, according to them, there's no leads on it. So
no, but you can't come out and say he killed himself, right? You can't do that without evidence that he killed himself, right?
Well,
you can't do that.
There's already a death certificate. So what are you going to do? Keep the case open indefinitely?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. Keep it open indefinitely. Allow for more evidence to come out later on, just like Kash said, right? It's like, oh, well, if anyone has any evidence, please bring it in. Not that he's like actually looking for that.
It's just,
I'm just saying.
The guy's dead. Maybe if we can resurrect Jeffrey, he might be able to tell us what happened.
But dude, you can't just close it though either, right? It's a cold case now, right? Essentially.
Yeah, but there's no statute of limitations on murder, so technically it's still open.
Yeah, but once again, Bongino, FBI, right? Kash Patel, FBI. They're saying like, yeah, we know he killed himself, so we're closing the fucking case. These guys are officials of that.
Proves it. We're going to show you videotape that proves it, but what you described didn't prove it.
Exactly. And if these guys, as officials, shut it down, what does that mean for us as a public who maybe wants to know the answer? We get locked out then, right? Because they closed case, he killed himself based on Bongino and fucking Kash Patel. Right? Because they're officials. These aren't random civilians, right? These are officials saying this.
Well, the last administration closed the case when you talk about
Well,
it that way.
there you
But
go.
like I said, there's no statute of limitations of murder. So if something
Yeah,
comes
but
out,
you know it's a lot harder, right? If someone has like a actual distinction or definition of a case, if they say like, "Yo, this is the end result of this case," you know it's a lot harder to get like information to like try to like overturn that. You realize that, right? For sure. It isn't like you know, like, oh, it's still an open case, but according to the judge's opinion, he's guilty, or the jury's opinion, he's guilty, right? It's actually like, yo, you're guilty. You will suffer the crimes. You'll go to jail. If you try to overturn that, it's actually hard work to do that, right? Am I tripping on that? I think I'm right about that, right?
Oh, hold on. Harrison, I'm not trying to attack you, but I want to remind you. Remember, this was under President Trump when he died in jail, whichever way it was. And Bill Barr was the Attorney General. And remember, Bill Barr came public and told us, well, the camera footage was deleted. 2 guards fell asleep.
Yep.
He had a roommate that tried to kill him a week ahead of time.
Yep. I remember that too.
We moved him out of that guy. We moved that guy not the day he tried to kill him out, but 2 days before he committed suicide the second time.
And it was also announced he was on like suicide watch, right? He was on suicide watch, right?
Yeah, and they removed his suicide watch 24 hours before his actual death. All these things make everything look fishy. Just to remind you of those things. Oh, and the doctor said the way he strangled himself is no way a single person committing suicide could ever do that. You're saying it's disputed?
That was a third party person. That wasn't the government doing that. That was a third party. What you call it? Forensic, whatever they're called. Right. That was a third party person. A pretty famous guy, from what I remember.
A bone was broken that could not be broken from self strangulation. It would have to be someone strangling you.
My hyoid bone is broken right now from weightlifting when I was a teenager. So there you go.
How did you do that?
I think bench press. Maybe
really?
overhead press. Yeah.
So
Jesus
how
Christ.
does that relate to an attempt of strangling you?
The hyoid bone is
Strangling
a very
yourself.
thin that bone is a very thin bone in your neck. You can break it on your own easily. Just like a woman can ride a horse and break her hymen. Same thing.
Oh, damn. So Harrison is in the camp of Epstein did kill himself. That's interesting. Okay. That is interesting.
So the John
I say fair enough.
Wait, hold on. Then I gotta bring up other things.
Get whacked and
Yeah, there's some circumstantial shit. Okay, show us
Does that
then.
mean you trust Bill Barr? Does that mean you trust Bill Barr in this scenario?
That's not the question to ask. I don't think they ask.
Hold on, stop. I can't hear you, Harrison.
I don't trust any of them, and I don't trust any of them. And Cash will tell you in that Joe Rogan podcast not to trust him either.
But what you're saying? Hold on. You're giving like suspension of disbelief in regards to to necks breaking and all that shit, right? But no one's showing you actual videotape of him doing that to himself, right?
Not yet. They're promising to show us something, so at least I want to wait until I see that.
I think Dubster thinks otherwise because I think he's saying they're not going to do that.
He described what he will be showing you, and it's him walking around a jail cell for 12 hours.
Like outside of it. Right?
It's not going to be showing you him killing himself. In another interview, I couldn't find that one, I guess. Oh, are you going to show us the tape where he kills himself? No, we can't do that. Dan Bongino, he laughs at the question from the interview. Oh, we can't do that. We can't show you the actual suicide. That would be inappropriate.
Once again, I physically didn't believe it, but yeah, God.
It could be inappropriate, but at least, like, I don't need to see all of these things. But if they saw it, then at least, like, there's knowledge, right? Like, there's they would say very different things, right? Like, they wouldn't.
I'm thinking people's
They wouldn't talk
intuition.
about this film.
People's intuition are like, how'd you do that? Actually try strangling yourself without like hanging. You know what I mean? Like actually use your own force to make yourself choke out and die. Someone make that make sense, right? He wasn't hanging from the fucking ceiling, right? He used a bedpost, I think, and the sheets, right?
The sheet have like 2 inches of free fall.
So it's like, if you let's say you do that and you pass out, where's the force coming from to make your neck or make you choke out? The force is alleviated at that point, right? Well, as soon as you let go, because you passed out, right?
Yeah, you'd have to.
So I'm like trying to make that make sense somewhere. I'm just saying, like hanging is way different than what the fuck I think Epstein was supposed to be doing. God.
Yeah, because there's no height.
Yeah. It's not gravity pulling you down to the ground to where you're choking yourself out. It's you with your own hands and arms. Like, Jesus Christ, are you fucking super savage, like muscle motherfucker that can choke yourself out? How do you do that? How do you actually do that?
Your instincts would kick in to stop you from
not only that, you're a zombie
that,
too. You can pass out and still hold on to yourself. Fucking kill yourself.
Exactly. Dubster. Fuck
like
instinct.
Wrench.
Fuck instinct. What happens when you pass out? Are you still like pulling the fucking, bed sheets so hard that you're actually killing yourself?
Epstein did.
Well, the only way I could think of it happening where you actually kill yourself, like first in its attempt, but then it becomes an accident, is if like your feet got out from under you.
With a bedpost? Nah, with a bedpost? How?
Hold on. So let's say you tied it to this bedpost, and then like you're just slumping to where you're choking yourself, and then like maybe you do pass out. Your feet come out from under you. Well, then your body will naturally like still resist that and pull.
Gravity would.
It would.
Wouldn't you gravity like your head would lump back? Like with gravity, your body would relax with gravity. To where it's not really a chokehold anymore.
You could do like a
I
tourniquet.
know, but I'm saying like.
I'm trying to imagine it, but I don't know how to.
I think
like the
I think you
closest
kill yourself
is
with
it could become an
tourniquet on your
accident.
neck.
You started with you wanted to do it, but then your body wouldn't let you do it, and then you slip out from your feet would slip out from under you, and that becomes an accident. That'd be the only way I could think of it happening, and I think your body would still like get you out of it in a way.
Well, that's another story, but let's say tourniquet, Jesse, right?
Yeah, actually, I don't want to give people ideas.
What's the world? What's the room for the fucking bedpost then? If it's tourniquet style.
Yeah, it doesn't fit what they said. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think someone's lying somewhere here in regards to all of this. I think someone's lying. But I'm just a regular civilian. My main point is not to get so caught up in. I think it's a bit of a distraction, in my opinion. But it is interesting. It's just, I think it's.
If he killed himself, tell me something that convinces me that he killed himself, because I'm not convinced he's killed himself.
Well, that's where the biggest problem is these guys leaping to that conclusion without, direct footage of that, right?
Yeah, evidence.
Like, yo,
There's
know.
So somebody
There's
tried
no
to murder
evidence
him.
that he killed himself. Let's start from there.
as far as we know, once again. But I'm saying, like, if they're keeping that secret, if they actually have direct evidence and are keeping it secret, there's no reason for that. That doesn't make sense at all.
The only thing the government's ever told us on him committing suicide is we shouldn't believe that he committed suicide.
Wait, what?
When Bill Barr told us everything, the only thing he told us is, yeah, you're not going to believe that he killed himself, and you shouldn't. But he killed himself.
Oh, yeah. And Trump was like, who's that? Who's Jeffrey Epstein? Who's that? Never heard of him before. Ghislaine, yeah. I knew her. I wish her well. Anyways, okay, let me see it. Okay, see? First, like, line here. Do you remember that HBO autopsy show? That's the guy that did the third-party thing. So I call him, like, celebrity, forensic guy.
I'll listen to this.
This guy used to do all the HBO fucking, like, death and shit shows. Anyways, here we go.
Yeah.
Do you remember that HBO autopsy show? Dr. Michael Baden. He's a famous forensic
I don't think I've
scientist. So he's a pathologist, and he reviewed the case, and it was his determination that it was a homicide because of the way his neck was broken. And what he said was it was indicative of a ligature strangulation. And it was because of the positioning on the neck where the marks were, that it wasn't indicative of someone hanging by their weight, which had been higher on the chin. And there's a specific break of the bones and the vertebrae that's consistent with someone who is just strangled to death.
I haven't seen it. I'll definitely take a look at it.
And thus the...
What? He's not familiar with that?
And thus the thing. Sorry. This report was everywhere within days of Epstein's murder. Which I saw. Right? I saw that shit. That's what Alex Jones is referring to. I never heard of that idea before. I'm like, bro, that shit was everywhere. Like, everywhere, I think.
What's that guy you hate's name on the right? Not Ben Shapiro, but his part, like...
And I don't hate anyone,
you think,
by the way.
Nick?
But,
Steve? Tim? No. What's his fucking name? This is
Michael...
Mud Club.
Mud Stephen
Club.
Crowder. Stephen Crowder. Yeah.
Remember he reenacted
Yes, I do
Epstein's
remember that.
death?
Yeah.
Okay. And Kash Patel isn't aware of that?
Apparently, Kash hasn't seen anything. And he has the... Once again, I'm not an expert, but I'm just looking at body language and the way he's moving around and his voice, his tone of voice. I'm like, damn, do you know you're lying, or do you know you're... at the very least, not saying what can be said about this. But anyways, here we go. I'll back up a little bit. Here we go.
And there's a specific
he didn't want to know?
bones in the
exactly.
Like,
exactly. Like, don't you want to know?
Jamie, do you have this? Like, I want to know. Let me know. We got like 3 hours here.
I mean, if I'm gonna do dumb guy shit, but Rogan is looking out for the guest. I want you to be comfortable. Don't worry about anything. I will not bring up evidence to prove that you're full of shit. I won't do that. Or embarrass you with something. I won't do that. Anyways, here we go.
The vertebrae that's consistent with someone who is just strangled to death.
I haven't seen it. I'll definitely take a look at it.
I can't believe that one.
That's part of my job.
You haven't seen that?
The report.
That's crazy.
No, I haven't looked at that.
Did you see any? Was there any other autopsy done other than the official one?
Not to my knowledge, but if there was, you'll get it, and that's what we're doing.
See if you can find that Dr. Michael Baden thing.
Dude,
do you remember that
Kash
show?
Patel sounds like bullshit.
Pretty cool show.
Yeah.
So this guy, Dr. Michael Baden, he had a long career of catching murderers, exhuming bodies, finding trace amounts of poisons, different kinds of things. And it was a crazy show, like all these wild ways.
Well, I love watching shows, and I spend a lot of time on planes. So.
Yeah, it was an old show. It was a show like from the early 2000s, I believe.
That sounds actually crazy. You're talking about Epstein, you're like, yeah, I spend a lot of time a lot of times on planes, bro. That sounds kind of crazy to me, of like a statement to say, like talking about Epstein. But whatever. Okay, Rogan's explained the celebrity forensic guy, who I've heard of.
Yeah.
I think before Epstein, I think I heard of the guy. Maybe not, but as soon as I saw his face and some of the shows he did on HBO, I'm like, okay, I know who this guy is.
Murderers, exhuming bodies, finding trace amounts of poisons, different kinds of things, and it was a crazy show, like all these wild ways.
Well, I love watching shows, and I spend a lot of time on planes. So.
Yeah, it was an old show. It was a show
What
like from
statement
the
is
early
that?
2000s, I believe. But this guy was like, this very well respected forensic
the Wire years.
scientist who would analyze these bodies, and it was his determination that he was murdered.
Yeah, and my job, going back to the core of what I've been doing since I studied Russiagate, was to get is to get everybody the information.
When did you get here? Epstein's autopsy points to homicide. Pathologist hired by brother claims. New York City medical examiner strongly disputed the claim that the evidence from the autopsy suggested strangulation. So let's go to by the way, this is the New York Times, and they never lie. The private pathologist.
I'm here to make you feel good.
Dr. Michael Baden said
Joe
the morning
Rogan.
TV show Fox and Friends, Mr. Epstein experienced a number of injuries, among them a broken bone in his neck, that are extremely unusual in suicidal hangings and could occur much more commonly in homicidal strangulation. I think the evidence points to homicide rather than suicide, said Dr. Baden, who observed the autopsy done by city officials. Dr. Baden, a former New York City medical examiner and a Fox News contributor, said, I have not seen in 50 years where that occurred in suicidal hanging case. Findings by Dr. Baden were strongly disputed by the city's chief medical examiner, Dr. Barbara Sampson, who previously ruled that Mr. Epstein's death on August 10th in the Metropolitan Correctional Center was a suicide. I stand firmly behind our determination of the cause and manner of death in this case, Dr. Sampson said in the interview on Wednesday. She added, in general, fractures of the hyoid bone and cartilage can be seen in suicides and homicides. The hyoid bone is near the Adam's apple. Dr. Sampson also dismissed Dr. Baden's contention that the circumstances around Mr. Epstein's death suggested other people may have been involved. She said her office had done a complete investigation, taking into consideration information gathered by law enforcement in making the determination.
So this is a perfect example of
his neck wasn't broken.
Prosecutor day.
That bone is not the vertebrae.
Yeah, but okay, you were lifting. I assume heavy weights when you fucked your shit up, right? What did he have in there to do that? Right, because people bring up the tissue paper sheets or whatever. Right, how did he do that, and then strangle himself? How did it happen? And then once again, for dumb guy's sake, no videotape, and the fucking guards are sleeping simultaneously. All these things happen. All these anomalies happen at once. It's kind of crazy, right? Now, I'm not so hard stuck about it to where I'm like, oh my god, this is the most important story of all time. But at the same time, I care about everything. So I see like this, I'm like, yeah, there's worthy questions about what's happening here, for sure. And I can't just write it off. You can't just say that Kash has been saying in this podcast, as far as I understand. Where it's like, yeah, he killed himself, and before in prior interviews too, he killed himself.
I think he
we
just
know
may have
this.
choked himself out and suffocated. I mean, it's possible.
Sure, it's possible, but does that make that the
What if he
conclusion
what
of
if he
the
saved up
FBI
his-
director? Hold on.
What if he was?
Does that make that the conclusion of the FBI director? Because it's possible? Like, stop it, right? They gotta actually investigate for all that shit, right? Go ahead.
Oh yeah, they should definitely, but shouldn't the onus be on that fucking jail he was in first?
Bro, it's not
Shouldn't
a
people there-
debate. It's people care what actually happened. It's not a debate.
Shouldn't
You know what I'm saying?
Shouldn't the two ghetto guards that fell asleep be arrested and they never
Ghetto
were?
guards. Shut up. Stop it.
That alone should make you question everything you know. That the guards were not in trouble for falling asleep.
He's so racist. They had, what was it? They had the itis, bro. They had some ribs right before their shift. They fell asleep. They had the itis, bro. You racist fuck.
I missed that. I missed that.
Whatever. Okay. Harris is doing subversion. It's
Mhm.
kind of funny, but all right, fair enough. All right, here we go. Yeah, all right, here we go.
The consideration information gathered by law enforcement in making the determination.
So this is a perfect example of going back to my public defender and prosecutor days.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we call a war of experts. You can
Right.
always find
Right.
someone
Right.
to come in and say the opposite.
Right.
So what?
And I used to do it all the time. I mean, I represent.
So what? See how it's like it comes off as lying when he's trying to throw smoke in the air. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to
Hold on.
like smoke screen everyone. You know what I'm saying?
He's literally
As-
hand waving
as-
it.
Hold on. As the top cop, once you're starting to talk to the DA about a case, you would want to know what the other side's expert's gonna say, so to better support your side.
Yeah, but he's doing this
Okay.
in regards to like he's arguing from the point of he killed himself. He's arguing from that point of from that perspective.
I know,
right?
but he's not bettering his case by saying, well, there's an opposing expert, the war of the experts. He's not supporting his case. He's just saying somebody else has a different opinion. Yeah, you're supposed to better your case because you know the other side's point of view of the case. You should be able to be prepared to face off against that other side, not just stick with it and being like, he killed himself.
Dubster, he's not appealing to courtrooms or anything. I get what you're saying,
Mhm.
but he's not appealing to that. He's appealing to like he's saying like, "Yo, I'm Cash. Like you trust me, guys, right? I'm Cash, but you guys trust me. I'm Cash. Come on, man. Come on, Joe. You trust me,
Trust
right?"
me, but don't trust me, dude. Trust me.
He's doing that shit without providing any type of evidence for it. And when someone brings up evidence, he's like, "Well, you be bored. It's boring. It's boring evidence." Like, bro, fuck out of here. Like, he's coming off, the more I'm seeing, as a straight up fucking liar, full of shit guy. For whatever reason. I'm not going to say the reason. I have no idea the fucking reason for this. Right? But I will say, like, it's my intuition is saying bullshit. I think he's full shit. I think he's lying.
Yeah, his statement was like a defense, like a side.
Yeah.
He's not looking for like truth or oh, that's interesting, or like, okay, like, yeah, there's a lot of experts, but like, that's interesting. Like, he's doing a defense of a side.
Like, well, Jesse, sometimes, like, listen, I've been on the defender and the prosecuting side before. You will say whatever evidence you need. You'll get whatever experts you need to make one side look right and one side look wrong. Like, is that what we're asking of you, Kash Patel? Are you serious? Is that the actual question on the table? It's not about that, right? It's not a courtroom, essentially. It's like, yo, you're saying this fool did kill himself. Show us the evidence that you saw. That is not putting victims in trouble.
It's boring. Bro, it's boring.
It's
you don't want to see it. It's boring.
The whole context of it, dude. It's just like there's no victims there, right? It's him in his jail cell, right? It's
not what you want to see, man.
But it's like you're saying it like it's a fact, without providing anything to us. But saying like, oh, one day it'll come out. But then again, it's like, how are you definitively proving one thing? How are you doing that without having the direct video feed of this fool fucking choking himself with tissue paper or whatever the fuck he did, right?
Bro, trust me, it's boring.
Or even explaining how it happened, right? Like from what they know.
Exactly. Or saying it in words.
Explain it. I don't make it make sense, right? Like that. Like that people were in the room, like, or after they looked at the scene, like,
which would be on camera, right?
I would think so, but like
no, it's not think, Jesse. It's not think. That is definitively straight up on camera, right? Let's say this the security cameras turned off of him doing the act. But afterwards, when investigators go in there, there's definitely video footage and photography, right? 100%. There's no way around that. There's no way around that. Right?
The
no
cops
way
that
around
come
that.
in that do the investigation, the detectives that investigate the death within the jail, should have at least took pictures of the scene.
And in that time, in the time period, right? There's video footage too. 100%.
Well,
there's no way around that one.
Modern day,
Yeah.
when cops do an investigation, they're doing it with cameras.
Yes.
So that they don't get in trouble.
They're doing cameras and photography. They're doing all of it.
Oh, yeah.
So there would be that proof. So then show that. Oh, it's kind of boring though. Like what? That doesn't make sense. None of that makes sense.
Trust me, bro. Don't trust me, but it's boring, bro. So trust me. I told you, don't trust me.
It doesn't make any fucking sense at all. But all right. Here we go. This is kind of stupid. This is kind of like getting. Well, it's been dumb, but the more I hear, it gets dumber and dumber. Let's put it that way. But here we go.
Presented some of the worst humans that you can possibly imagine on Earth. Literally, the guys that were trafficking.
Wait, go rewind that.
Go into America. And real time.
Mr. Epstein's death.
Him as a defender.
Have been involved. She said her office
defense lawyer, right?
Investigation taking into consideration information
the
gathered
expert
by law enforcement in making the determination.
So this is a perfect example of going back to my public defender and prosecutor days.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we call a war of experts. You can always
explaining
find
it away,
someone
right,
to come in and say the opposite.
Right.
And I used to do it all the time. I mean, I represented some of the worst humans that you can possibly imagine.
Dude, pause.
Literally, the guys that.
So your credibility is you would fake shit to protect bad guys as a defense prosecutor.
That's his job, Dubster, as a defense attorney.
So somebody else looking at a case could do the same thing. Not that they could do the same thing.
And he knew how to legally wave his hand to, because it's not a preponderance of evidence.
So, So, Jordan, yes, it is a job, but we're also human beings, and reality, and even though, your ego doesn't care that there's a thing called a job. It's still observing you doing these things, creating elaborate ideas on how to get people off or defending superiors, as he's doing right now, in my opinion.
Isn't it beautiful to just take morals, throw them out the fucking window? Isn't it such a beautiful way of life? I feel good about myself. You know?
Hey, you all think I'm this hero, but hey, I used to do some corrupt shit as a fucking defense lawyer. So you should definitely trust me now.
It was my job,
Dubster. I was doing that?
Dubster, shut up. It's my job, okay?
He said the worst human beings.
I was doing that as defense lawyer?
You're protected.
I was protecting fucking serial killers.
Dubster, there's no legal ramifications for me not telling the truth about my past defense lawyer days. I don't have to say anything about that. There's nothing. I don't have to do that.
But why did you? To tell him not to trust
because he's fucking cannon fodder. Okay, Jordan's back here. Jordan's back. Cannon fodder, bro. He's here to take bullets from everyone. To be like, yo, Kash Patel is fucking up. Meanwhile, the actual overall story never gets addressed. Does not get touched. Because we're all so mad at fucking Kash Patel and Dan Bongino and Pam Bondi. The actual overall story of yo, what happened with Epstein? What's the truth of the case? Where's the video? Where's the evidence and video footage and all that shit? Goes out the window because they're too mad at Kash Patel. It works perfectly to a T of what I think they want. My personal opinion.
And remembering why people think that he may want to kill himself, maybe, but that's why they put him on suicide watch. But why people are interested in it is because a lot of people believe, based on what he was arrested for, that people would be interested in him not being able to speak, not being able to present things in court, right? Or say anything. They want him to shut up.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of interest, which
Oh yeah,
ties to the other, like conversation of like who else is guilty here. That's really what the like an ongoing thing
well,
that
yeah.
that we don't know. Like,
I'm
who else is
saying as
guilty?
a
Fuck, now,
collective, there's no way around it. Go ahead, Dubster, real
now,
fast.
now, for the safety of the public, I want somebody to look into who he's defended before, because
That's hilarious.
he's telling us right now. I would get experts to say whatever I needed them to say to get this guy off. He was going to pay me a buttload of money.
I mean, they must have been big clients because making it to FBI director. I mean, you had to like be a part of something bigger, right? Probably some like mob boss or something you fucking defended before, or some crazy
Well,
shit.
I mean, you know the story of like Hillary protecting a fucking a predator of some
Yes,
sort,
yeah,
and how once she got off, she laughed like, "Yeah, this dude was guilty as fuck, and I got him off."
yeah. Off of like
That's
I think it was
you're
under like
saying.
a little child's underwear or something like that. It was like part of the case that got him off. I'm pretty sure. And Hillary's like, yeah, I got that
Cash
guy
Patel
off.
is
Yeah.
Cash Patel is admitting he is as dirty as Hillary right now. In that sense,
Well, I guess unfortunate for Cash, where this story like, okay, you have like Rittenhouse, right? Kyle Rittenhouse, and you have Trayvon Martin, right? Where the cases are kind of a little bit more vague of morally for the average person, right? It's a little more vague. Like, oh, you end up like you find a way to pick sides in that. With Epstein, it's like kind of one way. That guy, like, fuck that guy. He's trash, right? With Epstein, he's trafficking. Fucking like when you fuck with kids, I think universally, usually, you get people to be like, yo, fuck that guy. He's trash. And yet,
yeah,
on a case where there's no moral vagueness from the public, right? The public's like, yo, that guy's trash. We don't like him, right? Even in that scenario, somehow it's like, oh well, listen, we don't got nothing for you from the FBI, from the administration, from Patel, from Bongino, from the AG office, right? From Pam Bondi. Sorry, we got nothing for you. There's no vagueness about it, right? Morally, the public is like, yo, this guy trafficked little kids, fuck him, right? And still, these guys are like, well, we got nothing for you, man. Sorry. It's kind of boring, actually. If you look at the evidence, it's boring. Yes, very definitively, very much so. From what I've heard from these guys, from Patel and Bongino, it's very definitive that like, well, yeah, he killed himself, and that's it. Dust your hands off. Nothing at the mansion. Nothing's there.
by the way, I'm corrupt, and you should look into me too.
Well, there's that. Yes.
There was nothing we could do.
Nothing we could do about it. Nothing. I'm wrecked, bro. I'm actually wrecked. But all right, let's. Here we go.
This is what we call a war of experts. You can always find someone
he's creating
to come in and
about
say
it.
the opposite.
Right.
And I used to do it all the time. I mean, I represented some of the worst humans that you can possibly imagine on Earth. Literally, the guys that were trafficking children from Mexico into America. And you could put up a professional expert to say, and this is what's going to go on forever. And my job is not the forever. My job is to get you absolutely everything that we can give you.
Ultra Methylene Blue is now available in steel.
Alex Jones is on fucking. He is on meth, by the way.
He's
Methylene Blue.
a commercial for Joe Rogan.
Nah. He did this himself. His fucking tweet. He put his advertisement in there when we're talking about like notorious motherfuckers trafficking children. He's selling blue methylene. Like you fucking fuck, bro. I'm sorry. If you still like Alex Jones, you are horrendous to me. You're trash. But yeah, he sold an ad of blue methylene in the midst
Methylene
of all of
blue.
that. I'm wrecked.
Methylene, you're saying backwards.
Breaking Bad.
Whatever. Yeah, it is. It is, Jesse. it's
No,
it's
well,
Heisenberg's
it's
invention.
It's equivocally the Germans invented it, and
I don't want to hear from
speed
Alex
that you
Jones.
can sleep on.
I don't want to hear that from Alex Jones.
It's drinking coffee you can sleep on.
Whatever. Okay. Yeah. Once again, here's some talking points from me. My YellBro talking points. One, I get worried that people get too swallowed up in this fucking story to where they miss everything else that happens. Two, this story is actually important and should be looked into and investigated all around. Three, I'm sorry, these guys are lying to you. I think they're lying to you. I think Alex is lying to you. I think Cash is lying to you. I think Bongino's lying to you. I think Trump is lying to you. I think Pam Bondi's lying to you. And by omission, I was going to go with Rogan on the last one, but I think there's a stupidity there, or maybe just a full-out liar of what Rogan does, too. So it's like, yo, be a critical thinker and actually look through these topics yourself, like actually look into them. And I mean, dumb guy logic. What is a consensus, like, worst crime to do on the planet, like traffic children and then rape them? I would think that, like, you guys can't even, like, work hard to figure that out. We're fucked, basically. Right? Dumb guy logic. If something that everyone considers like something horrible or terrible, and you don't bother to like, actually look into it, it's like, yo, we are fucked. You guys are full of shit. Move on. Next up. Apparently, at that point, in my opinion.
And then Kash Patel at the end just admitted he protected other human traffickers by getting experts that would say something different, when he obviously knew they were the most violent and evil people on earth you could imagine. He said he in the way he worded that, he said he knew they were guilty, and he just got experts that would say it a different way, and they were human traffickers. So good thing he's on this human trafficking case of Epstein.
This was like his interview for his job. It's like,
well, it's like, I don't know. It's like I guess that's another bullet point. If the like fuck the law, go with morals. I think is the way to go. Fuck the law, go with morals instead. Check your heart first, I think, is a bullet point for me. This is such fucking wreckage, dude. A story where there's an obvious bad guy and people still fuck it up. It's just, once again, my brain melts hearing about this. It's so unfortunate. There's actual people like actually suffering from these things today, right now. We know the whole Epstein thing, right, and all the victims and shit. But there's someone going through that right now, dude. If I had to guess, I can't say I know, but if I had to guess, someone is going through this right now. Do not get stuck on fucking Epstein. What's that?
And press and delete.
Don't get stuck on Epstein. Yeah. I understand that.
We don't have it. The general public doesn't have it. All we got are the cases that were obviously corrupted. With Jeffrey Epstein in 2006 or whatever, and then Ghislaine Maxwell, where she didn't have clients either, but it's charges of human trafficking.
I think she's appealing for parole right now, I think. Right?
And then we got the FBI director that previously cooked the books and found the right experts to fucking cover other human trafficking cases. Oh my god, dude. And then we've gone
which is
through
not about morality.
We've gone through 4 different DAs on this case, at least, active on the case. The DA during 2006, the DA under Trump's first presidency, the DA under Biden's presidency. Now this DA That was part of the first. Yeah. No, Attorney General, not DA. I meant to say Attorney General.
Yeah,
of the
AJ.
United States.
Yeah.
Yeah. 4 different AGs that have covered this up.
But that's the thing, Dubster.
2
Hold on.
2 on the Republican side, 2 on the Democrat side.
But
no, 2006 that would have been Bush, wouldn't it? So 3 on the Republican side, 1 on the Democrat.
But Dubster, if they like, once again, I'm not gonna like if someone's telling the truth in their minds, right? Being honest and telling the truth of like, yo, I think this or this or this is the case. If you have that so reassured, show everyone what you saw. Right? Am I tripping on that?
Nothing. You saw nothing.
No,
So that means
that does not work. That does not work at all. Right?
Trust me, bro. Yeah. Don't trust me.
You have to show everyone, like, show your work, essentially.
Bro,
show us what you did.
Boring. My job's really boring.
Show us how you concluded that this is the case or that's the case. Just show us that. I leave room for that. It's just maybe these guys are that stupid, but I don't believe it. I leave room for it, but I don't believe it. I think it's the names that are involved in all this stuff is too much, and we can't show everyone that. I think it's the actual idea of things, if I had to guess. I really believe that. It's like, okay, this is too much. It's like an asteroid hitting the Earth. If we tell everyone, they're going to riot. So we can't do that. But who knows? Maybe I'm proven wrong as time goes by.
Well, here's another idea. What if Trump needs to blackmail them back for...
don't fucking tune in on me right now. Don't do it.
What's that? No, what's that word?
Mutual destruction.
No.
Listen, I'm in the book and you're in the book. We will.
What is it when you
keep this neutral?
You're trying to get to a goal, so you justify the means to get to the goal. What's that phrase?
Devil worshiper, Conti, Douglas Murray.
No, there's a phrase.
Yeah, I don't know.
Justify the means to get to the...
Means to justify the ends, right?
Means to justify the ends. There you go.
Yeah. AKA a cunt.
The Trump administration, maybe Trump, maybe not, or whatever, needs to blackmail them since they got dirt on them to vote to get some good things done.
Would that not be the greatest joke of all time? It'd be a joke, like literally, like an actual joke.
I'm protecting Bill Clinton because he can lead to Adam Schiff voting a certain way.
For what? For what?
I don't fucking know.
I need
so Adam Schiff will vote for this next bill I need passed.
Beautiful bill.
It will
can't
save
be
the world. I promise.
Good.
I promise this bill will save Earth.
If I didn't stop the Epstein list, if I didn't do it, there'd be nukes going off all over the world right now. I saved everyone. I saved them. Fuck out of here. Nowhere near no chance that's the case. So, anyway, all right. That's the GGs. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you feel like. Oh, God.
What if foreign diplomats are involved?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Wouldn't that be something?
Sometimes you got to protect them over the American people. You know what I'm saying?
What is it?
They're more important.
The former president of Israel's named in the original stuff.
But we knew that already, right? Ehud Barak. Yeah.
What's his name?
Yeah.
Ehud Barak.
Ehud Barak, I think, is the correct saying how to say it. But yeah, that was already known. Then they released it in those fucking stupid binders, right?
Yeah.
Where everyone knew it already. So it's like, okay, what's your point?
That was an example of foreign diplomat.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. There's plenty of foreign people on there. Like Prince Andrew is not from America, right?
Yeah.
Not diplomat. I don't know what he is. Foreign celebrity.
Are immune from. They can't go to jail. A foreign diplomat.
I mean.
Yeah, they have
apparently
diplomatic immunity.
Yeah.
Once again, it's a bunch of people that think they're smart, trolling us regular people. And one day, people are
they
not
have
going
the
to have
right
it.
to shoot
But
somebody.
I don't like that idea. Yeah, God.
Apparently, a diplomatic immunity means you could shoot somebody and not get in trouble. But you also can just admit to it too as a diplomatic immunity person. Why hide it?
Fair enough. I mean, well, our court system would hide it for the sake of national security, right? Like, oh, we don't want to get in a big, like, actual tension or actual military action against foreign countries. Thus, when one of their diplomats comes over here and bangs a 12-year-old, we'll keep it fucking quiet. Right?
Yeah, like what if that Saudi prince was visiting Little St. James?
I wouldn't be
bet he was
surprised.
too. He's kind of a freak.
I wouldn't be surprised by that.
I wouldn't be surprised. Like we have,
I think there's a lot of foreign leaders that
Bill Gates is on the list too. But I wouldn't be surprised if thousands of names are on those lists.
I wouldn't be surprised
people
either.
we know.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised
Like
either.
public
To be real
figures.
with you. That's why it's like like that's what I meant by like the meteor hitting Earth, right? Or the asteroid, I mean, hitting Earth, right? Where it's like, okay, if we tell them, then they're gonna panic and kill each other. But if we don't tell them, maybe
Why
we
would we kill
maybe
each other,
maybe we stop the asteroid because it's an asteroid hitting
That's a
Earth, right?
don't
They
look
start
up,
looting up
right?
everything. What's up?
That's a don't look up premise.
The what
Why
premise?
wouldn't we hunt? Why wouldn't we hunt down the ones that got away with it? That'd be a better plan.
Yeah, but what happens when you get them? What happens? We
not
organize all of a
suicide
sudden. We organize all of a sudden. Like, stop it.
Yep. We get them to commit suicide in a jail cell.
It's like, come on, dude. You've seen too many idiots out here, bro, on the internet. Come on. Now, I don't have that. I mean, I kind of do. Have a lack of faith of humanity and how they behave. I think if they saw like realness, they would respond in a nice way. But I'm saying like on their own in the dark, and they think there's a bunch of fucking pedophilic, elites running their world, and they actually get evidence of it. These fools might run up and it's like someone's gonna do something fucking crazy, bro. Something un-Jesus like, if you will. But
like the Pizzagate shooter guy. Is that what you think? Like a lot of those would be.
He didn't shoot up anything, right?
He shot up the pizza parlor that supposedly
No, he
had
didn't.
the basement.
That guy didn't kill anyone, right? He just had a gun on him.
No, he shot in the building.
Well, that's bad too. But I'm
He
saying
didn't
like,
shoot anyone. He
imagine
shot
you
the
have
gun off.
full-blown proof. Imagine you have full-blown proof that that someone or this establishment or whatever the fuck is like they are blatantly raping children. Someone will have no reservations of walking in there with a gun and just shooting it up. Right?
Okay.
Versus that guy who's going off of like internet theory, basically. Right?
Yeah, but you don't
It's
cause
different.
that by you don't cause that person to do that by
No,
making it
no,
public.
not at all. No, not at all. I'm just saying, like, I'm trying to, once again, hyper empathy. Think of their mental perspective. Of like, yo, if we tell them, they're going to fucking kill us all. Right? That mentality, I think, is very possible. If there's like an actual list of motherfuckers in high position of power across the entire world, like, yo, we were all banging 16, 15, 14, 13-year-old girls or boys or whatever, right? These guys are gonna
maybe toddlers
or maybe even exactly, maybe even younger.
So do they keep
These
their
guys are
jobs?
these guys might take us out. Wait, what?
So they just continue like running the country
Yeah, in their minds, yeah,
to keep their jobs and everything.
yeah,
Yeah.
in their minds, for sure.
Okay.
Like, listen, we went to the big schools. We're the smart people. We know each other. We're cool. But I will do maybe political things to get you out of office or get you out of power because I don't like you for some reason. That's possible too, right? But the populace knowing, yeah, we all agree that can't happen because they are our children, and they will act out, and they won't do what we want because we're so wise, and they're not. I truly think that's like an actual ideology or idea that people have in these positions of power. They view us as like we're too dumb to handle things. Truly. Yeah. And that's to me scary because how dumb they actually are. Like actually how dumb they are. Like they almost subvert themselves. They're so like they actually I think they do that. I think they actually subvert themselves. That's their level of stupid. You know what I mean? And but they view us as actually lower on the totem pole. Thus, they need to protect us from certain ideas or certain things. Otherwise, we'll riot. Just like when that shit happened in Russia, right? I remember that years ago, over a decade ago, where they were like, yo, a meteor, I think something hit the fucking Earth. But no one was told about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one was told that this fucking rock hit the fucking Earth. Why? Because they'll panic. They can't handle things the way we can.
But here's
I'm just saying.
You're not saying, and I get where you're coming from, but here's one thing you're not saying. This is something we should riot over. This is something we should panic over. This is something we should revolt against.
But Dubster, imagine a shit ton of leaders from all countries, all their governments. What if all governments got overthrown the same day? Do you see it now?
It's not like government's
I'm just saying.
idea that we can't have.
I think I'm more scared.
We can't reformulate
I'm saying
government.
what their mindset might be. I'm just saying.
They can make their mindset be whatever they want it to be. I think it's just whatever lets them sleep.
I understand that, but I'm saying like, if their mindset was like, yo, imagine every government fell, everyone, overnight. That's kind of the same case as like nukes going everywhere, or an asteroid that destroys the whole planet is on the way. It's the same thing, I think.
I don't see it that way, but they could feel comfortable with it.
I could see that's their point of view. But my point of view is that we should overthrow it and reformulate a new government.
Bro.
If that is the fucking case.
Well, yes, in a healthy way, this is what's already supposed to happen already. They've done enough infractions to be like, okay, what we're doing here is horrendous, and you guys are not trustworthy. That should have already happened. But I'm saying, like, egotistically, in people's mindsets, of like, yo, the government is gone overnight, right? That is way different. Like, do you not understand that, or it's?
No, I understand. That's their point of view. Yes.
Yes, and I mean, I would think people would do something
really
stupid
happen
too.
that way.
Like, are you sure about that?
Let's say if like
I think there's some merit to
the head
it.
of the government, right? Like
yeah,
the president, for example. So president also, things can happen, like whether it's their own health or anything, things happen. And that's why there's a vice president, that's why there's a third in line, there's a fourth, there's all of these. Like I don't think
I don't think I'm being heard, heard exactly. Like I follow the speed limit for a reason. Because of what if a child walks into the road, or like there's a bend on the road to where you have like a blind spot, you can't see exactly everything. So I go to speed limit for a reason, personally. But what if for all of society, there's no one gonna give you a ticket at all ever if you speed? Now what happens? Like overnight, not just like we have years and years of conditioning in regards to speed limits and driving and all that shit. I mean, like overnight, you're like, okay, if you speed, you will not get a ticket.
Well, the way
what happens?
The way that I hear this, like literally, when I hear this problem, I am seeing that the world leaders don't get speeding tickets, and I know you're presenting it in a different way, but that's what I'm hearing. They don't get speeding tickets.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
The two
and
tier
what's the
system
result of
India.
that? From regular
They
people,
get to speed and we
are
get to
they
be
in
late.
this? Are
Then
wait. Do they have the moral fiber to be like, okay, we're not going to harm them. We're just going to be like, okay, guys, you guys go away. Anyways, we move on with our idea or our world or
No.
whatever the fuck. What happens?
It continues.
Be real. What happens?
Is to harm. The purpose is to harm.
Oh, exactly, huh? Okay. The purpose is to harm them. Okay.
Yeah, it's justice.
Got it. It's called justice.
Bloody justice.
It's called justice. Got it. What's
Bloody
your
justice.
what's your take, Jesse?
Well, I mean, my take is that if it's allowed, basically, even if it's allowed just by not, like giving the speeding tickets, if it's allowed to continue that way, then they feel a sense of immunity to it and will just do it more freely.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm punk rock about it. I'm just saying, like, let's be honest about what's going to happen. If you point out once again, the idea is this moral situation, right? Where it's like, there's no ambiguity, no questions about it, right? Basically, it's like, oh, raping children, bad. We all understand that, right? Raping children, bad. Right. Now you point out all these world leaders that are a part of that, hypothetically speaking, right? All these world leaders that are part of that. And what do you expect to happen? Do you think to see maturity? Do you actually expect that? I don't at all. I personally don't. I expect a lot of stupid, a lot of dumb shit. I see a lot of dumb shit happening. Keep it real.
You might see a
lot of dumb
process.
Shit. Mature process? What does that mean?
Cleanse of them.
The Clintons will be taken. That's a fantasy, I think.
I said cleanse, not Clinton.
Oh, sorry.
Cleanse. Okay. Cleanse of them that are doing these things.
Yeah, it might be wiped out overnight too.
No, what I'm not.
But as you said, as we've said, murder is not looked at as bad as, pedophilia, right?
I'm not on the whole idea of we'll kill everyone. I think we'll someone.
You sure about that?
I think there is a possibility of a actual investigation to find out who really did what, and we could break it down to, okay,
that
92
would require established order.
42 senators did this.
Hey, do you think that really? Do you think that people would? Oh, sure, possible. I'll give you that. Sure, possible. I just don't believe that, man. I really don't. Considering the fever pitch of actions we see in the world, do you really think it'd be like, all right, you know what? Let's settle down. Let's go through, judge and jury and prosecutor and defense and go through the whole process together. But that would hold up the thing that all these motherfuckers are actually occupying, possibly, right?
It'd be like,
It'd be like, wait a minute, this whole thing's faulty. Destroy it all.
No.
I think would be part of the thing.
Oh shit! Thomas Massey and Rand Paul get the lift. The rest of Congress is done.
Yeah, and what does that look like? Like, stop it! Come on. That alone is already reaffirming what I think could possibly happen. Because let's be real, people do not work on themselves psychologically. Meaning, if you hurt their kid or their wife or their husband or their family member, they may turn into a fucking monster for a bit. Right?
Vengeance.
Not saying it's right. Not saying it's not human. I'm saying that can happen, though, right? Now, imagine that on a global level. On a global level. Where you have the moral thing where, the motherfucker that sells drugs to kids has a moral high ground on the fucking pedophile in that situation, right? Even those guys are like, yeah, fuck them up, right? I'm just saying, look at it, honestly look at it. You don't think people? You think there'd be a bunch of intellectuals running around here with critical thinking skills that question their decision making? Do you really think that? Like, does anyone actually think that?
Well, then you're saying every genius out there is corrupted.
No. I'm saying there will be people with some better vantage points, in my opinion, But I don't think. I think there would be enough pockets of horrible things happening. But but guess what? We'll be maybe forgiven more so than someone on the Epstein list or whatever, or on Epstein videotapes or whatever, because people are stupid a lot of times. Just keep it real. People do stupid shit for stupid reasons.
You guys have a good night.
I love you too, Dubster. Have a good night.
Yep.
No gay porn tonight. You heard that before you left. Anyways, all right. Let me end this video. I did not end the video yet. All right, subscribe if you feel like. Comment, agree, disagree. Tell me what you think about the whole. This is a big debate over multiple levels, I think, for a long period of time. Tell me what you think in the comment section. Don't forget to share, support, hopefully donate to all the links in the description box. Check them out, read them, share them, then donate. And with all that said, give this video a thumbs down.
Say you wanna get in.